Last time, on Asmiliath adventures, our heroes the Golden Hearts finally make their escape from the wild lands of Aether. As they cross back into the familiar countryside of Giles' kingdom, they are spotted by a patrolling rider of the Royal Army. Learning that our party is being sought after by King Hunfor, the Golden Hearts are escorted to a small military encampment and informed of what they missed in their time away. Kralin, the city that they had saved from the otherworldly beast summoned at Braun's funeral, has been struck by a sudden and devastating illness. Very little is known about the particulars, but apparently only humans are falling ill and mimicking the symptoms Duke Braun showed before his demise. If that wasn't dark enough news, our heroes also learn that Roij Mazev has declared war on Giles, amassing their army near Freesight City in hopes of striking at the ancient capital. Finally, as our party begins making their way towards Corel, they come to realize that the yellow-eyed man is no longer only their burden. Commoners, soldiers, and merchants all have varying accounts of who/what this terrorist is, but every single person now understands him as a real threat. Arriving back at Jarrek's small town, our party stops for a rest, planning to complete their journey towards the king the following morning. This rest is thoroughly disrupted though, as Valorant imposes himself on Jarrek and his lovely wife. Much to Jarrek's surprise, his determined companion casts the familiar spell Zone of Truth, resting its unmistakable effects on Halaski. After some confusion and some firm questioning, the panicked woman finally reveals to Jarrek that she no longer loves him. Striking deep at the ragged man's heart, the party leave Corel with their usually uplifting bard cast into despair. Deciding to shift their course, the Golden Hearts take a small detour towards Grapevine Manor, where they had been told Duke Braun's mother resides. It is January 10th as the caravan of the Golden Hearts makes its final approach towards the modest manor, a somewhat aging and lonely brick structure that rests atop a large hill. As the main entrance comes into view, a young-looking woman spots the wagons from a distance and begins making her way down the gravel road. So, however you guys are traveling, whether on horseback or wagon or carriage, you're maybe about a quarter mile away from the manor at this point. The woman that has spotted you kind of leaving the small hedges that insulate the front courtyard of the building, you probably have maybe like 2-3 minutes before she gets within speaking distance of you, so if there was any comments the party had on your approach, now is your chance.
Jarrek will take up the rear of the caravan on his horse.
Yeah, and Decker would just do a cursory flyby with Overrun, just to see if there's anything in the immediate area, anything of note.
Probably be towards the front, just riding along.
Okay.
Same.
So who's at the immediate front?
I imagine us two.
Yeah.
All right. So as the party is continuing forward, and Decker, you reach up into your familiar to kind of just get a general layout of the area. The manor is mostly a manor just due to its title. It's not a huge structure, anything overly extravagant. It's a rather modest structure for royalty, I guess is what you call it, or nobility of some sort. Clearly the surrounding areas aren't incredibly fruitful or profitable. There's some like sparse farmland and a few minor structures here and there, but overall this seems to be just a very secluded and easily passable location that doesn't have a lot of outwardly significance, which you can probably assume is the reason that someone like her would be hidden away here. So, but as the party continues forward and this woman begins descending the hill towards you, she appears to be probably like late teens, early 20s. She has kind of sparse blonde hair that's kind of poking out of this bonnet that she has, work attire on. She was carrying some sort of bucket on her way that she set down on the side of the road, but it's clear that she is very enthusiastic, kind of beaming from ear to ear as she comes running up to you, and Thor and Valor, you'd be the first two to, I guess, make contact with her. But she comes running up. I would assume she would look at Valorant just due to Thor's appearance. Like, you must be the spiritual guidance, right? From Pruid. I didn't think you would make such great time with the war. I thought they would close the border. welcome. You must be tired from your journey. Come.
All right, where should the rest of the wagons park themselves?
Oh, we have plenty of room in the stables there. They don't get much use, but I have been poring over my notes and reading all that I can. I have everything prepared. I have all the necessary resources that we need, and I thought that you would be held up. It's great to meet you. It's great to meet you.
Likewise, perhaps you can explain in greater detail. I think your message was somewhat brief.
Well, you did. Are you Cavander, or and then she points to Thor, like, or is he Cavander?
Commander is actually in the carriage. Please don't disturb him. It's been a difficult journey, and he needs to maintain his focus. I am his his man.
Give me a general deception check real quick. Okay. She kind of like looks past you at the small trail of wagons behind you, kind of peering at them, attempting to see through the cloth and the walls of each one, but kind of shaking her head. Yes, I guess we shouldn't bother him. Just, well, I would hope that he would explain it to you, but I have been eagerly awaiting your arrival ever since Duke Braun's passing. It was the first chance I had to allow you into the manor, and I think this is it. I think this is the key.
Well, the rest of the servants will see to his needs. I assure you, I am perfectly capable of representing him, at least in the early stages of why we are here.
She kind of like steps up beside you, I guess, as you guys are still making your way up the hill, and stood beside Belgrease, which I'm assuming that's what you're mounted on, right? Yeah. It's rather far reach, but she kind of like lifts her hand up daintily. She's like, I am Lendra. What is your name, sir?
I'm called Valoran.
And your companion?
I am called Thor. It is a pleasure to meet you.
The pleasure's all mine. I never thought that I would truly meet any of you. It's I know that you're probably tired and you want to rest, and I'm sure Cavander also wants to rest, but I do have everything prepared. I've had it prepared for days, and I'm sorry. Let's get up to the manor, and we'll get you all unloaded. I'm ahead of myself. I'm sorry.
Quite.
Am I close enough to hear this?
Yeah, I mean, the wagon's probably not, like, that far of a distance, like the train, I guess. So you should be able to overhear the conversation.
I'd like to ride up next to Valoran and whisper to him, "What are you doing?"
I don't know. It seemed like a good idea.
It might be best just to come clean.
I may yet.
Have fun with it.
Let's at least get inside first.
Indeed.
That's what she said.
So Lendra kind of like breaks away from the group, kind of leading you guys up the rest of the hill, eventually getting into that somewhat secluded like entrance courtyard. The main two like entrance doors for the building itself are rather tall and a bit more presentable than the overall structure, but one of them kind of opens up wide, and the somewhat tall frame of the door is filled with this rather imposing humanoid figure. It's a cleanly shaven, very densely muscled human man. He has this stern, rough face, and his eyes seem rather emotionless as he just stands there kind of taking in this trail of wagons coming in. But Lendra eventually gets you inside and gestures over to the man. Borg, this is the spiritual guiders from Pruitt. If you could help unload their wagons or get them situated, I'm going to try and get them inside. Be a dear. Borg just kind of looks at her and then looks at Valoran and then looks at her and kind of shrugs. and then steps down from the stairs and moves to, I imagine at this point you would relegate the stabling of the wagons to one of the company employees at this point, Valoran?
Borg.
Huh?
My Borg. I also have a Borg.
You have a Borg? Oh no, we have
Yeah.
two Borgs. Oh shit.
Yeah, his name is Borg.
Oh no. We've doubled on Borg.
It's like the Porter incident all over again.
They can be friends. They can commiserate.
Oh no, we'll go with oh no, I'm an idiot. She had this very thick accent. She actually was saying Gom. Don't know how I got Borg in my head. We got Gom and Borg. My bad.
Yeah, I let Borg coordinate with Gom about seeing to the various vehicles and animals.
Gotcha. So at this point, is the party kind of dismounting, stepping out? Who is this Cavander that you have alluded to?
I don't know. I think the carriage might have been empty. So for my part, I'm gonna do my best to sort of encourage the everything to just go out and move into the house, and stress to her that our people are gonna see the Cavander, and he really needs his rest, and if we could just know where his room is, and she should just talk to me.
Okay.
I think as Jarek would be, heading up towards the group, he's still all in that like kind of black attire that he had previously, with that, long stare, kind of out of touch look, but approach, at least towards Valorant and the group.
Okay. I'm debating whether or not there's a persuasion check needed to, like, move it inside without incident. Go ahead and throw me a roll. Wow, that is extremely consistent. Alright.
Precision.
I'll be taking 15 on these charisma-based checks.
So as the wagons pulled in, and Gom and Borg, who are fast friends, I'm sure, begin to kind of bring the structural larger wagons and carriages kind of around the back of the building, and then the horses following slowly behind, you are able to kind of steer the conversation enough to get you into the front entrance, and then kind of brought into this, I guess, almost parlor, greeting room, very familiar to the room in Kraylin Castle that you guys had been sat in a couple of times to wait. As you're moving through the main entrance and the kind of structure that you now get to take in, it's very sparsely decorated. There aren't a lot of paintings or tapestries or any sort of show of wealth or extravagance. It's just this rather plain, almost seeming lifeless interior. There is, general seats and benches and cushions and the normal furniture you would need to more or less function, but there isn't anything extra. So, being diverted into this little parlor, she'll have, I guess, the four of you, if you're all approaching and coming inside, sat around. There's a small fire in the fireplace, and it's a rather cozy / smaller room. But she would sit down across from you all and start managing a few stray plates and cups and stuff on the table that have certainly not seen a lot of use anytime, what's the word I'm looking for, recently. But we just kind of look from one to the other, getting a little bit of confused look, but then looking back at Valoran. Who are the only one that I communicate with is Cavander, so it's great to meet you, Valoran and Thor, and then she would kind of gesture at Jarek and Decker.
I just look over at Jarek.
What? Yes. As Valorant said, and if there's a window, he'd probably just be looking out it.
Decker, it's a pleasure to meet you, man. This is my distracted friend Jarek.
It is a pleasure to meet you both. Valoran, when is Cavander going to come in? Because I would really like to speak to. I've been waiting years.
I understand, and I will consult with him once he has revitalized after this journey. But please show me what you have in the meantime.
She kind of like pips up a little bit at the invitation to start blabbering. She's like, one moment, I'll gather my things. And she kind of darts from the room, leaving you alone for a small moment.
All right, so what furniture is in the room?
Thor, this is a serious matter. Jarek is depressed. There is an old woman's life at stake.
Is there any paintings on the wall?
There are no paintings on the wall.
Okay. Is there anything on the fireplace?
No.
Is there
You have, like, 2 couches, a chair, and a coffee table. I'll let you mull over on that one. Is anyone else doing anything?
I'm staring intently at Valoran at this point.
Valen just kind of makes a gesture of...
Alright. I'm gonna turn the coffee table 90 degrees.
Okay. It is longer one way than the other, so this would be very easily noticeable.
Damn it. Okay, maybe not.
So, as our sharp-witted party has a few moments of rest, eventually you would hear the kind of rushed sounds of her returning, bursting back into the room. She's clutching this rather large, worn journal, and then there is a sizable kind of leather pouch in the crook of her arm. She runs over to the coffee table, kind of like letting it drop out, rustling with the string of the bag, and then pulling it open. And you are met with a skeletal, small head in the bag, and then there's a small glass vial that is full of some sort of brown dirt mud-like texture, and then a very small coil of this shiny, thin, kind of glimmering string. And she like sets them all very delicately on the table, opens up her book and starts flipping, just kind of like talking as she's going through all these motions. Well, I was brought in by Duke Braun many years ago to look after his mother. I mean, Lady Helendra, my bad. Anyway, and I was convinced very early on that she was possessed, but Duke Braun would hear nothing of it. There was no way that someone of his family would be possessed, and so I tried. I pleaded with him year after year after year to let me contact you, to contact Cavander, because I know that he has dealt with things like this in the past. And so after so much waiting, and the unfortunate demise of Duke Braun, I'm finally able to bring you all here, and I think that this is the best shot to bring back Lady Helena. I mean, not Lady Helena. The ruse doesn't matter at this point. She's Alaris, and
ma'am, I just feel it's best to be done with ruses, and I'm really no good at them. This is not Valoran, this is Cavander. You may speak to him directly.
Give me a deception check.
I have a question.
Go for it, sir.
Your Honor. Do any of us know what, who a Cavander at all?
You want to give me a history check?
I got you. Yeah.
So, Decker, as you step forth and do this reveal, she kind of looks at you a little bit suspicious, and then over at Valoran, like, is this true? Am I missing something?
Well, you see, and he glares at Decker. What with the war and the attack at Kraylin and the subsequent plague.
Can never be too careful.
Precisely.
Enemies lurk everywhere.
It's kind
So
of
better
like
that an assassin's dart fly into an empty carriage than at myself.
kind of looking
Hiding
back
in
and
plain
forth,
sight, you see?
nodding slowly at each kind of ping pong. She eventually rests her eyes on Valor, and there's a small moment of like, but eventually like, well, Commander, a little bit of an odd introduction, but you have no idea how long I have waited for your arrival. I am so grateful, so very grateful that you're finally here.
We've established that. Please go on. It's important that we proceed.
Well,
Actually, Jarek would kind of turn back at this point. Commander, should I put up the wards just in case?
Yes, I believe that is a good idea. You, go on.
One moment, please. And go ahead and cast out Detect Thoughts. And just kind of do it in a theatrical sense.
Okay.
Trying to make it look like I'm doing some words.
Okay. Are you detecting her thoughts?
Yeah. know what
I
you
mean,
guys think.
I mean, yes, surface thoughts, it would be, excitement.
Okay. How long does this last? A minute? Okay. I'm just gonna kind of browse around the room until anything changes about that.
Okay. But yes, Valoran / Cavander, as you kind of prod the conversation along, she begins flipping through her book again. She's like, well, I found your book that you wrote in the libraries of Kraylin, and then after I learned that, I tried to find any other source that you had written about the Terrafox, and I am convinced that one has latched on to Alaris, and it must be rather embedded, because it's been years and years since she's been herself, and I've tried contacting anyone else that had any sort of knowledge on the fact, but you seem to be the only one who was willing to dispel it the only way that we know how, and I feel it in my own soul, my own spirit, that this is what plagues her, and even though she is old and I don't know how much life she has left to give, I think it's the right thing to do to cure her of this infliction and bring her back.
I believe we're all in agreement. It's not my proficiency, but would this be religion to try to, like, she's these terms and this situation she's describing?
Yeah, okay, yeah, it's the closest thing, I think.
Have you mentioned Cavander before? Well, doesn't matter.
She is unloading so fast that it is pretty difficult to be thinking and listening at the same time.
I'm a holy man. Hold on.
But she would kind of like gesture down at the various things she brought into the room. Okay. I've already prepared all the components that we need for the ritual. I have the platinum string and the crow's head and the silt from the bay, and I've been ready for God knows how long, and I don't want to rush you, but we could do it this evening. We could do it in an hour. I could get Alaris ready and we could save her.
She has a journal there, I think you said, or a
Yeah,
book
that
of
she's
some kind?
like flipping through as she's kind of spouting.
I want to take it from her and just try to skim in this moment.
Okay. Yeah, she would obviously offer it up, kind of excited for you to look over her handiwork. Guys, give me investigation. Okay. Her note-taking or her process is a little bit scattered. It isn't like reading a textbook from start to finish. She's kind of like jumped pages and then written sideways and kind of like done these roundabout systems of carrying a thought from one part to another. But generally it's kind of like grabbing the words that stand out. If you're trying to get at least a general feel of what she's talking about, there is, whether it is a spirit or a folk tale or a god or a demon, some sort of malicious entity called a Terrorfox, that is Terrorfawx for those of you who are curious, is this possessive leech on people that have an immense amount of guilt or shame or fear or emotions kind of similar to that, and it feeds off of them to the extent where they twist their personality, they kind of suck their soul out of them, and it's believed, from what you can roughly kind of guess, that whatever people or system that believes that this is true and real, because that seems to be rather negotiable, that it's latching on to their spirit. And so spiritual guidance or spiritual cleansing is the way to remove the Terrorfox. And then Thor, with your 10, you've heard of spiritual guiders before in Pruitt Empire, and you know that they are somewhat, what's the word I'm looking for? They only come from the Pruitt Empire, more or less. You have heard of other ones elsewhere, but you have an understanding that they're not exactly the same. There's like a specific grouping, like a loose organization that call themselves spiritual guidance or guiders, so.
Okay.
Show me the lady.
Do you want to see her alone, or are we bringing the group?
I just want to take a look. I'm not going to try to do anything just yet.
Well, most days I leave her out in the courtyard. That seems to be the place where she somewhat seems back to normal. But of course, I'll bring you to her.
Please.
So, party tagging along, just Valoran?
No, I'll continue with him.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to turn the chair 90 degrees as I leave.
Okay. So, as the party is moved out of this parlor, you're moved kind of near the main entrance again, kind of onto the opposite wall. There's a center of the structure itself that's kind of open to the sky, this enclosed, somewhat garden area. There's like a small pond and a few somewhat groomed trees filling out the general zone. In the center of this garden, there seems to be this rather old, somewhat decrepit-looking old woman. She's somewhat curled in on herself in this rudimentary, I guess, wheelchair is what you would call it, make it easier for her to be moved from one place to the other. In her clutches, as you're led out to the open air, is this rather simplistic, ordinary-looking wooden box. It's flapped open ever so slightly, and from this distance, you can see the very slight mechanical gears shifting, and it's a music box. And you can hear this song kind of chiming across the small open air. She's almost like rocking back and forth ever so slightly. It's so slight that it's hard to tell if it's her breathing or her actual movements, but she seems focused on it, almost like in a position where she is defending it with her body. But the very eager girl would lead you out there, kind of gently rest her hand on the back of the old woman, like, this is Alarice. This is what she looks like most of the time, and it's been gods only know how long since she's spoken or been here with us.
What was the tune that was playing out of the box? Is it anything recognizable?
Give me a history check.
And I would also assume that our resident bard would also.
Yeah, I'm thinking on that one. Actually, as we're walking up, can I give her a quick once-over with the detect magic telescope from in the back of the group? So just a...
Okay. Oh, oof. Jarek, you better knock that one out of the park. Giving her a glance with the telescope. Nothing on her there we go. Nothing on her person would stand out to you. The music box that she's holding, it's an energy, a reading, a visual that you're unfamiliar with either detect magic or this telescope. It has this strange, almost like phasing in and out appearance when glancing through the lens. It's almost transparent, but then kind of like stutters in place and reappears, and then shifts in her hand a little bit. It seems like it's full of some sort of underlying energy, potentially. But that would be all that you spot. As you're listening to the music box repeating over and over again, trying to place where you might have heard this tune or somewhat familiar melody, it seems to be very similar to this lullaby nursery rhyme that has been sung to the children in Giles' kingdom. So you can roughly place it like that. It's a little bit off, and there's a few changes here and there, and it's a lot more simplistic than the professional version of it, but that's where you can connect it to.
Am I able to get the actual, words I would have probably heard or sang to my kids? Or maybe a general idea?
The main theme, focus, or lesson of the lullaby, it doesn't seem to be connected in any way, at least not in any obvious way. It's about going to bed at night and staying out of trouble and ultimately kind of being a good person. It's a rather vague, commonly known, simple ditty basically. So it's not like there's there's demons in the box. So yeah.
Wow.
But yes, Lendra would just kind of keep her hand rested on her, looking over at Kavander. Be like, if I don't know what else you could find, but here she is.
What do I pick up with divine sense?
Give me the highlights of that again.
The presence of strong evil registers on your senses. Powerful good rings like heavenly music. I know the locations of celestials, fiends, and undead that are not behind total cover. I know the type.
Okay.
I know if something has been consecrated or desecrated, as with the Hallow spell.
Okay. So, reaching out with divine sense, you're able to detect this kind of low, resonating humming noise. This, radio feedback, very low frequency sound that just kind of fills the back of your ears. Trying to focus in on it, looking this lady up and down, you too begin to not so much see, but almost overlay this shifting, buzzing, kind of vibrating energy centered around this music box. It almost appears to kind of jitter out of place and then return back to her clutches, and seeming rather odd, you're able to discern that it isn't a fiend or a demon or anything that you've interacted with before. It is this unique frequency, I guess for lack of a better term, that is wholly new to you, but it certainly leaves a rather unnerving feeling in you.
Tell me about the box that she's holding.
Well, she To be a little bit blunt, she came with it. I've only been here for a handful of years, and the caretaker before her said, don't remove it. She'll wail and cry and scream whenever it's not in her grasp, so we simply let her keep it, and I'm sorry, that's about all I know, but she is rather centered on it.
I'm somewhat surprised that in your study of this woman, you have not realized that there's an unnerving presence that is focused on this box.
I have my suspicions, and I haven't found a way to learn about it, examine it, without disturbing her, and when she is disturbed, it is better to quickly resolve it.
I can imagine. Tell me more about what made you suspicious. What made you suspect?
As a young girl, I heard a story about my grandfather who was suffering from a terror fox, and he was distraught over the various activities he had to do in warfare, and apparently it left him rather scarred and empty, and the same stories and symptoms and tidbits that I had heard about him just seemed to crop up in this almost obvious manner with Alaris. Supposedly this began after her husband died, and that certainly is a strong emotion. If there was any reliance that she had upon him once he died, then maybe the bitter feelings called to this corruption, and it seemed to only get worse from there until now she is fully encompassed by it, and nothing else makes sense, and everything that I know points directly towards it, even though most people call me crazy and say that it isn't even real and that it's just her age getting to her. I don't believe it. My gut tells me that I am right.
And the late Duke wouldn't let you attempt to do anything about this affliction.
Well, seeing as the only prominent cleansers of the spirit were up in the Pruitt Empire, and there's a bit of bad blood between us, the Duke would not allow me to reach out to you or anybody of your order. So now that he is sadly missing, I finally was able to reach out.
I haven't made a check on these cleansers of the spirit yet.
Okay.
I think I would like to do that now.
Go for it, sir.
Damn.
Just with the amount that you guys have been talking about it, you can more or less kind of get your head around what Thor was able to remember. Like, it is this somewhat loose order. Some of the populace kind of think they're crackpots or they're con artists or something of the sort. It's very iffy whether or not their services are even real. It's almost like tarot card reading, or, you know, getting your fortune told, that kind of thing.
Perhaps if my companions and I could have a simple refreshment laid out for us, I would like to confer with them.
Certainly, I can get something set up back in the parlor, and of course, I have plenty of rooms to house you and your companions, and I guess your employees. I will leave you and get that set. Please do not disturb her, unless I don't want to see her upset.
I have no intention of doing so at this time.
I will I'll get right on it then. Just shout for me if you need me. I'll be able to hear you. And then she begins kind of moving away.
Once she's out of earshot, Jared would kind of look over. It's probably a box. It's got something's weird with it.
I could tell that as well.
Maybe you could try playing the lullaby to her.
I'd like to just dispel the box. I think if that's the issue, maybe that'll fix it.
Yes, maybe today will be the day that spell works for you.
Yeah. We'll see. Any objections?
Well, before this goes any farther than it already has, I don't think this commander is likely to come. I don't see a entourage from Pruitt being allowed to walk the kingdom while another war is going on.
And lower your voice.
Yes, but I do think that we can help. I think that we have it within us to address this. I also think that we may as well tell the caretaker the truth at some point.
Maybe tell her the truth if we're unsuccessful. Otherwise, all glory to Karanda.
What? I didn't catch that.
I said, we can tell her the truth if we're unsuccessful. Otherwise, all glory to Kavanda.
Thor, what do you think?
I think that either way, if we tell her, if we tell her who we actually are, she might already know who we are. I mean, it depends really on what her contact with the outside world is. Seeing as we've already done some deeds for the late Duke. So we have a name, and our deeds are known. So it's not like if we came out to her and said, hey, we aren't who you sent for, but we can help. We can probably help you. I don't think she would be upset. I think she may actually, or hopefully, be a little more forthcoming with all of the information that she has, since I honestly don't know anything about what's happening here. That lady, and I'll just point it out, looks very creepy. I don't understand the box, and it's putting me a little on edge. But I am okay with whatever. I am just ready. What?
Hang on.
Continue, Thor.
Am I okay? Okay. Should I keep going? I don't know.
I don't know. This is kind of a crucial moment.
Amanda?
Commander!
He's gone.
Well, which one of you is Commander now?
We'll all draw straws.
Figured it was time to have the surprise thrown back at James.
Dude, I was like, oh my gosh. Oh. You okay now?
Yeah, it turns out when you don't spend hardly any time in your office over the course of months, stuff finds a way of getting knocked out of place.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right.
Anyway, I'm back.
Continue.
Where was I at? Like, where did you lose me?
You said the box is strange. This old lady creeps you out. I think that's where it cut out.
Yeah.
Okay. So the lady, obviously very creepy. But if what the girl says is true, then we kind of do need to help her in order to get the information that we're also looking for. And I do think she would be helpful to us, as long as we kind of, assure her that we're not here to kill anybody. Because it does seem weird us just randomly showing up, especially if we're not who we said we were. So she may be a little mistrusting of us at this point. So we either have to kind of just go with the flow, pretend that we're who we say we are, or we can come straight and hopefully she will still look to us for aid.
Thor, out of all of our ventures, have you noticed how much of this life is a lie? I guess you just gotta commit to it at some point. Like Decker said, if it fails, sure, come out, but we don't need the problems if they don't have to be there.
I'm gonna walk over to JD, I guess, cast my shadow on him. Stick my hand on his shoulder. I don't know what hurt you or what happened exactly, but I am just letting you know my opinion on the matter. But if you need some sort of spiritual help, I mean, maybe Gavander can help you too, I don't know.
Look, let's just crack this lady open spiritually or whatever, and let the poor lady just live out her life.
Seems awfully sad.
Valoran, do you have anything that can, I don't know, fight a ghost? Maybe this lady is actually possessed.
Well, what do we know about? Do we know anything about whatever a tarot fox is?
Terraflop.
Or what it does?
Have you ever encountered any of this kind of stuff out in your neck of the woods?
No, it sounds like children's stories, but who knows? There's something mystical with the box, and she's obviously cracked.
Well, apparently, Gavander wrote a book about it, so somebody knows something. But I was more hoping that, whatever those ritual, I assume it's some sort of ritual thing. If you guys know anything about that, I have no idea about any of that. Alright, cool. Well, if you want to try to dispel the box, I'm okay with that. I would say be ready for anything to happen, so I suggest you get as far away as you can, JD.
She's just an old woman.
Well,
Let's take. What time is it right now?
You're probably getting near noon. So you arrived in the manor kind of the beginning of the morning, and after the various activities, you're getting around noon.
Okay. What if we let the girl perform her ritual? Because she's clearly studied it. And then while she's doing that, we'll do what we know. And one of these approaches will work.
I think my main concern with that would be what if her approach works? Somehow she unleashes a demon from this lady or the box, and then the demon just kills this girl.
That won't happen, because we will be here to stop it.
Right.
I don't actually think there's anything to this Cavander's ritual. But she already has all the stuff together.
Also, are we coming clean or not? Because I'm a little towards coming clean, just because I don't really like lying to people that don't seem to have bad intentions.
Then how about we come clean after the ritual is performed? Will that work, Thor? They're gonna kick us out otherwise. I don't know it.
think they will. They really don't have the power to.
Yeah, but
It
do
would
you
also
want...
shake the girl's confidence, and
I guess that's true.
It might build her confidence if she's already prepared for the ritual, and assuming she's studied it in more depth than we have, let her perform it under your guidance.
under our protection.
Yeah, precisely.
Also, if the dispel doesn't work, what about breaking the box? Because if she is as possessive of the box as they say she is, what if that is some otherworldly thing that tells her that she has to have this? And it's that it's
We'll find out soon enough.
well, yeah, I'm just saying. Plan A, ritual / dispelling. Plan B, break the box.
Jarek, how about let her perform the ritual, and at its culmination, at its peak of performance, if nothing happens, you cast a spell. If by some slim chance she knows what she's doing, you don't have to cast anything.
You know, we could ask her to set everything up and give, Cavander,
Cavander,
like a Cavander, like 20 minutes alone with the lady. I could just cast it as a quick, ritual while the other girl was setting up. I think worst case scenario, we unleash a demon on ourselves and she's nowhere in the room. Or it doesn't work either way, and then we know that's not going to work, and we can let her try her thing, and if that...
sounds sensible.
Just leaving the poor lass out of it would be the best option, in my opinion. And then Jarek will turn away and start to play back that tune from the box.
Okay.
See if that does anything.
Also,
Give me a performance check. What are you playing on?
Malut,
Okay. So kind of like turning away slightly and listening to the, because it appears that whenever the music box ends its track, her frail, like paper thin hands kind of like shift the gear back slowly. It's like click 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 click, and then it begins repeating it again. So letting that play out a few more times, getting the melody and the beat a bit more familiar, you start kind of plucking along with it. And you notice maybe about the second or third time through the music box's cycle, she doesn't shift her body. Her head's kind of leaned down to stare at the box in her hands. But as you kind of like glance back just to see if anything's going on, you see just her eyes go up at you and then dart back to the box.
Take note of that. And I think I'll just keep that up for the time being.
Okay.
Also, JD, weren't you like talking about possibly disguising yourself as a certain person to see if there was any recollection?
Oh, um,
I don't know
yeah.
how many times you can do that.
I mean that's easy enough. It's basic magic. But it doesn't work unless she's lucid.
I think we have. Go ahead.
Then Jarek will kind of kneel down and get close to her, kneel down, and kind of look at her eyes as he continues to play, and kind of then turn to the group. There's still something in her. She made eye contact a second ago. Something's in there.
I think we have a plan. I like what you said, Jarek. I think we can get the girl to set up the ritual and then see what we can pull off.
I just need to make sure I'm close by, so in case something actually does happen, because we're all assuming that this is actually a thing. But what if it's just not a thing and she's a crazy lady who just sits there and looks at the box all day?
Well, then we have other avenues that we can explore.
All right.
As the conversation begins winding down, you would hear one of the doors of the courtyard open, then the familiar voice calling out, I have wine and ale and water if you need that. I don't know what everybody prefers. Have you learned anything?
Just conferring, trying to make determinations about some of the finer points. Actually, if you would set up the ritual for after our refreshments, and we will attempt this afternoon.
You see her somewhat, mildly worried expression shift to one of just, overwhelming glee. And she kind of, stares at you and, her whole body seems to, shake a little bit with excitement. She's like, is everyone, going in, or just you, or how
Not
many?
everyone. Ma'am, how familiar are you with the ritual?
I've never seen it done, but I read his book, and I have all my notes, and
I presume you've never seen it done, but how... Let me ask, if we were not here, could you do it yourself?
no, I mean, you need men of your talent to untangle her spirit from what's inside of her.
It's good that you haven't tried this yourself.
Well, especially given the drawbacks if I don't succeed.
Quite.
Well, if you want to go back to the parlor and have your refreshments, I guess I'll prepare for all of you, and then however many want to partake, we can...
Yes, we all four.
It might be a tall order, and could I join with you? I've been waiting years, and I would love to be a part of it. I won't get in the way, and I won't be a bother, and I shouldn't have asked that. Go ahead and go to your refreshments, and...
It's all right. Many people do get rather excited upon first meeting Gavanda, but you'll understand that this isn't really something that would require more than the allotted amount for the ritual.
I will get everything prepared then, and get it ready for this afternoon.
And you have a copy of my book, you said?
Yes.
I should like to see it.
He'll autograph it for you.
She kind of That was the question that was on the tip of her tongue. Nods very happily to it. I will bring it to you in just a moment. I'll go get it from my room.
Thank you.
You're really stuck in it now, aren't you, Commander?
Yes, with plenty of help, it seems.
You have to admit it's fun.
It's the most fun that we've had in, well, a month. I'll say that.
It is dancing on the edge of a blade.
Lighten up, Jarek.
No, he's right. Suppose I like dancing.
And I like blades.
And I like Jarek. I'll just punch him.
Well, let's have a drink.
Yes, returning back to the parlor, it'll only be a few moments before Lendra comes barreling in with her book, or I guess your book. But, very gratefully hands it over to you. It is clear this thing has been read from cover to cover multiple times. Like all of the edges of each binding is worn. There's small tears on like every single page from like flipping the pages too quickly, and she just like gingerly sets it down in front of you.
Right then, bring me a pen, and then if you'll set up that ritual.
Simple enough. She would facilitate that, get you a quill and ink, and then dart back to the courtyard.
Did we bring in the old lady with us?
No, she's still in the courtyard.
Is there any way we can help him speed read this book?
Well, so first I'll
you take the left page, I'll take the right.
I'll sign Commander in like the first leaf of this book, and then actually wave Jarek over as the other. Not even as the other, as the man of letters in the party, and then he and I are gonna read it together, basically.
Okay, both of you give me intelligence checks.
Also, are we back in the parlor?
Yes.
You know I know how to read too, right?
Is the
disinvited from reading, but he, lore and whatnot.
Is the chair fixed? That's more important at this point.
No, it is not.
Okay, then I'm gonna rotate it another 90 degrees.
Okay.
So it's now 180 degrees. Anyway.
So back to the side story. So Jarek and Kavander, as you begin looking through this book, you guys begin falling into this rhythm that is rather comfortable. Like, it's almost like completing each other's sentences, but in this strange reading scenario. But you're bouncing from one page to the other. Occasionally, like, Valen will reach for a page, and then Jarek will flick it over before he can get to it, and, just going through the book in this intimate setting. Anyway, eventually, the two of you, after combining the massive amounts of your brain power, the general understanding, so the beginning of the book goes into a lot of, like, really obscure lore and stories and tales that you can kind of skim through. Once you get to the middle, you actually begin to get to accounts from Kavander, his own notes and theories and things of that nature. But the ritual that you have, I guess, been building up to or having her prepare in the courtyard, the process of it is you find a group of companions, spiritual guiders, whatever you want to call them, all of them that are rather firm in their own beliefs and soul and well-being and all that fun stuff. They then entwine themselves in the spirit of the victim. They latch onto it to the point where it's almost like hazy, where one spirit starts and the other one ends. And once you get mixed in, you're then brought through the most prominent scenes that cause these emotions of despair and grief and guilt, and you cleanse each scenario step by step, moving through the traumatic memories of the individual until you eventually lure out this leeching demon's spirit illness and face it directly and then smite it from the spirit. That's your general understanding.
Well, if this is real, we're fucked. Okay.
But the procedure for the beginning the ritual itself, we're able to.
Yeah, so the general layout, one thing that you caught that is rather prominent or worth mentioning, it is incredibly difficult to maintain your own connection to your body and the real world. So whenever you go through a scenario like this or entwine your spirit with another, it is a mental strain to also bring along your earthly possessions. You're not just teleported into this other plane of existence or this spiritual realm with all of your gear. You go in basically naked with only a few amount of prominent items you can focus on intently enough to re-visualize on the other side. So that's one little side note in one of the passages that I imagine would be interesting. But the ritual itself, you know, you put the subject in the center, you put the various cleansers around them, they hold their hands out flat as silt from the bay is poured into each person's hand, and then they're all connected by platinum twine being wrapped around their palms, and then eventually the crow's crest, or the crow's head, is sat upon the highest point, which is usually the top of the head of the target or the victim, and then there's a lot of chanting and passages and chanting some more, and then supposedly you entwine yourself.
Those chants in the book by chance?
What?
Kind of.
I was just saying, are the chants and stuff in the book by chance?
They have to be adjusted for the person, but like the framing of the chants are in the book.
Well, I think I share that with, assuming everyone has to participate, then I share the framework with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I say we tried Commander's way. Since we are borrowing his name.
I mean, this would send her, or send us into her consciousness. I don't think I am certain of anything enough to be useful then. I mean, based on this, and he'll point out a passage, I just don't. I can't guarantee anything. But maybe I'll take the gallon if she's dead set on being part of it, and I can try my thing while y'all are already engaged and she's not looking at me.
That's what you wish.
Does it say what happens if, I don't know, we lose our ties to our own body?
So near the end of the book, written in much smaller font, or I guess much smaller handwriting, I guess you should say, it goes into a brief description that if cleansers are lost during this process, or if they are unable to find the certain chain of events to cleanse each memory, they are damned to eternally repeating the target's trauma for the rest of their days, leaving their bodies empty.
on the plus side, there's no way that we come out of this without knowing everything we came here to ask, and then some.
True. It's just whether or not we're able to tell anyone else.
What are the odds that all four of us die?
True. JD has lived through a lot worse.
I think he
Look,
was married to one.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Look, worst case scenario, we just break the box.
That's what I said.
Yeah, no, I know that's what you said. That's why I'm repeating it. I'm not taking credit for you. Just as Thor said, we just break the box. I mean, y'all should be fine. What does this lady live through? She's been rich her whole life, other than the guilt of maybe, swapping out her kid, potentially. Y'all should be fine. What could...
Wait. You're not coming with us?
I mean,
this is to be true.
Yeah, so as I understand it, it's if you're certain in your beliefs, those are the type of people that do this ritual, right?
So, like, examining that passage particularly, because it seems to have resonated with you a fair bit, reading through the rest of the book, there's the general aura of a little bit of self-patting on the back, where when he's describing the people that have to do this being self-righteous and firm in their beliefs, kind of also plays along with a lot of the other colorful word usages he uses throughout of, only the strongest and the bravest and the handsomest can...
A bit pretentious.
Yeah.
Okay,
So...
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, you make a good point, Thor. Who else is gonna watch your back? Pull all you knuckleheads out if anything goes wrong. Jack will hike up his pants.
I mean, what did we meet for in the first place, if not to get lost in some old lady's mind and never return?
How dangerous can one old woman be?
Oh,
Proud
if
of you
only
all.
you knew. Well, is she back yet? Is she ever coming back? Did she
Well,
die?
she's preparing the ritual for the afternoon.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Oh,
Yeah. I was just gonna say, I think we drink to our drink to us and get ready to try this.
So as the party read over their book, Commander's book, and formulate a plan, coming up with a list of items that they wish to tag along with them into their summoning, combining, twisting, diving. Finally, the hours of noon tick by. It's reaching the afternoon, almost evening time, when Lendra eventually comes back into the parlor, a bit of dirt on her face, looking a little bit tired, but still kind of smiling and glancing over the entire party. Are we all ready then?
Yes, I think so.
She walks over and grabs the book from you and looks at the cover, or I guess the inside cover, and just kind of smiles to herself and clutches the book. For what it's worth, I wish you all the best, Commander.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I know that I asked earlier, but is there any way that I could come with? I mean,
No, it's best left to the professionals
yes,
now.
Yes. Well, I will have whatever refreshments you need. on the other side once you return.
Sure, we will be most grateful.
Well, to the courtyard then.
Let's proceed.
I'll be right back, and I'll go get
The
the
potion.
potion from Claire.
Okay.
What have you gotten us into, Valorant? I'm just kidding.
We were always going to do this.
Yeah, let's go get inside an old lady.
Phrasing, Jarek.
Hmm?
Phrasing. You might consider your choice of words.
Well, I'd rather not say, the four of us go, delving into her skull, but
So leading the party
Okay,
into the
I'm
courtyard.
back. What did I miss?
So you would see that she's kind of set aside a few smaller vials of that brown, dirty material that you'd seen earlier. There are small, like, pillows, like sitting cushions, set evenly in 4 spaces around the old lady, a 5th pillow kind of tucked off to the side. But she leads you all in and kind of directs each of you to a pillow, and then she's flipping through that notebook that she's been carrying around, like double checking things, kind of mumbling to herself, looking over at the positioning back at the book, kind of counting on her fingers a little bit. But I'm assuming you all kind of sit around.
I would just follow, I guess, Jarek and Valorant's lead, because I don't really know how this ritual goes, and I assume they know more than I do.
So eventually, as everyone's in place, she would, step up with the book, like kind of looking at it one more time, and all right, everybody strip. Yes, Kavanda?
Jarek is already halfway stripped.
Indeed.
And then it says, visualize the essential items you are carrying. Yes.
Right?
All right. Everybody hold your hands out. Kind of like mimicking this. She would go around to each person, kind of uncork one of the small vials, and then dump like moist sand into your palms. Just kind of like spread it out evenly across the surface, going to the next, eventually getting them on everybody's hands. She would then grab the roll of platinum string or twine and begin kind of lacing it around Jarek's hands, and it begins like sealing your palms together like this before she kind of like pulls it tightly and then guides the platinum string to the next person, repeating the same process, closing Valorant's hands closed with the silk kind of dripping between the small bits of your hand, then moving to Decker and then Thor, finally getting everyone tied off, and then returning back to Jarek to end the string on his hands. She kind of looks around at everybody, double checking, looking at her notebook. And then the crow's eyes face the sky, and she grabs the crow's head or skull and looks at the old lady. I'm so sorry, madam, just don't move. And very gently places the small skull on her head, kind of shifting it a little bit to make sure it's not going to fall off. And all right, last chance, I guess. I'm going to start chanting now, unless Kavander, you want to do it.
Go right ahead.
Does anybody want any water before Okay.
Actually, yes, I yeah.
Oh, okay.
Kinda-
She kind of like scurries out of the courtyard, still flipping through her book, grabs one of the cups of water from the parlor, returns, like, tip your head back. Yes, okay. All right. Is everybody ready?
Thor will just be muttering to Arovica under his breath, hoping that Tingle follows him.
Okay. Does that work? There we go. So as you all focus in on this very strange scene, the music box kicking back in yet again as the old lady finishes cranking it, Lendra kind of moves herself from outside this strange square you have all formed with the platinum twine, and she begins very slowly and deliberately pacing around the circumference. She starts speaking about Alaris's distant relatives, calling them out by name and connecting the entire family tree down the line until eventually resting back on the old woman in the center of the circle. She tries to reach out to her, remind her of her children and her home and where she was born, using these specific details of her life to hopefully strengthen the connection that you are trying to form. She continues to go faster and faster around the circle, the grass that she's actually stepping on beginning to remain depressed with the amount of circles she's doing. You're probably sat there for 5 or so minutes just beginning to worry that this is all a hoax and a scam and nothing is actually going to happen, until you begin hearing her voice begin to
Alaris, open your mind. We've come to seek what's inside. Alaris, open your mind. We've come to seek what's inside. Alaris, open your mind. We've come to seek what's inside. Alaris, open your mind. We've come to seek what's inside. Alaris, open your mind. We've come to seek what's inside. Alaris, open your mind. We've come to seek what's inside. Alaris.
As you hear her voice filling your ears, this strange sensation of the world simply falling away from you happens. This black void encompassing where the courtyard used to be. You're still sat with your 3 other companions, still holding their positions around this old lady in her rickety wheelchair. As the scene begins to shift and swirl and you're cast into this basic void, the distant appearance of greenery, of a garden, of a forest, begin to rise from an immense depth. Miles under you, it begins to go higher and higher, becoming clearer and clearer as you almost descend down into this scene. And that's where we're going to take our 10-minute break. As the void is pushed away and the scene begins to rise up to you, your feet gently being placed on the ground, Decker, out of the entire party, you almost instantly are able to recall the scene around you. You remember your young days in Kraylin Castle, running around these very areas. This is the gardens of Kraylin Castle, the main fountain of their, rather extensive landscaping. Recognizing that, you begin glancing around, but outside of this immediate scene that's been presented to you, the world simply falls into this black, endless void, maybe only having about 80 to 100 feet of this, memory kind of being reproduced for you. As the party gently rest on the ground, everyone getting their bearings, you stare over to your left beside the fountain where you see a young boy kind of crouched over something, leaning over something kind of tucked away in the bushes. And as the scene begins to play out and your senses begin to return to you, you hear this squelching, scraping, and as you look a little bit closer, you see this young boy is kind of crouched over what appears to be a rather young common girl, dressed in the servant garb of House Gritor, and he is slowly peeling the skin from her body. She's clearly and thankfully dead at this point, but the young boy's hands are slick with blood. His blade is continuing its process, its work. He seems very intent on his job, and so you hear a rather panicked voice coming from just in front of you. And as you're all stood there watching, this younger, elegant, rather attractive version of the old lady, the Alaris that you had seen in the courtyard back in the realm of reality, walk through Decker and then begin closing the distance toward this young boy, hearing her voice call out, Braun! Braun, what are you doing? And she grabs the young boy, pulling him away from his activity. You see the blade falling from his hand, landing in the gravel beneath his feet, the blood of the servant girl slowly kind of soaking into it and towards the fountain. Roughly, the woman grabs the boy and begins dragging him off towards the pond, bringing him into the water and beginning to dash his hands into the water, scrubbing it clean, just trying to clean it off in this desperate, kind of panicked manner. And as the scene begins to play out and you're able to start, I guess, taking in the secondary details, beside the splashing of the attempted hand cleaning, you hear this, paddling noise kind of slowly drifting into your ears. And then this very strange cackling follows it. As you hear this, this spectral, transparent, grotesque form of the elderly lady you had seen, the old version of Alaris, completely nude, begins paddling around the fountain in front of you, her gaze locked on her younger self and the boy as he's desperately trying to clean his hands. As she's watching, the pond's water begins to slowly turn more and more red, the blood seeming to stain and stick to his hands, never fully coming clean. And as she's doing one of her slow circles in the fountain, the corner of her eye catches you, and she turns over to the party, tilts her head slightly, and just smirks at you all.
Jarek is going to step back into the bushes.
Well, Commander, it looks like you succeeded. Good job, sir.
I will... first, I want to know... I want to really look closely at this specter, the spectral form.
Mm-hmm.
Try to determine if it is an illusion.
Do you have any exact means of doing that, or just trying to...
Just I don't even remember what... whether that would just be investigation or perception, or... I'll divine sense while I'm at it, but...
Yeah, I guess go ahead and give me a perception.
And
Dude, yeah.
oh, sorry.
No?
This circle right
Mhm.
here. Can I see that from where I am, or do I need to get closer?
Yeah, you can see that from where you're at.
Okay, does it look like anything, or is it just like a weird spiral pattern?
It is certainly not a natural,
Blood splatter.
occurring blood splatter. It seems to be, to your best, just kind of glancing over at it, that it is like a partially constructed circle, or maybe just an aimless circle, kind of drawn out in blood, but it's clear that it's, been placed there.
Okay. And then with the weird laughing specter, can I just try to insight if this thing is about to be hostile to us?
Sure.
Just by the way it looks. I mean, looks hostile, but...
As it's kind of drifting in this fountain, it kind of leans a little bit over the edge, the saggy skin of its form kind of just falling away from its bone as its smile stays plastered on its face. It just, again, very slowly moves from one to the next of your party, seeming curious more than anything. Anything else from our heroes?
I guess divine sense, thankfully, doesn't need a roll. What does that tell me?
So, yes.
No, I would just try to talk to it.
Okay, well, let me give Valorant his information real quick. The that buzzing, that low kind of background frequency that you were hearing when Divine sensing the music box, you begin to hear that, and it begins growing more and more prominent in your mind, and then begins to shift to that same tune of the music box, but it's not the same like metallic plinking of the small mechanism. It's this like drifting, humming, kind of womanly voice coming from it, and it's clear that the sensation or the entity that you were detecting in the real world, you were also detecting that similar energy from this.
I'll let Derek can Deckard. I'm sorry, it's written as Derek in the in Roll20. Deckard can try to speak to it. I want to move over to these two and see if either of them acknowledge me, like if either of them can see me.
Okay, we'll get to you. Decker, what are you saying, sir?
I'm just a dresser. Hello, Alaris.
Alaris, I am not Alaris. Who are you?
Well, I'm Decker, but I suppose you know that. Who are you?
Well, I am me. There is no other me but I. What is it, Decker?
Decker is a very handsome man.
You see her crawl over the rim of the fountain, some of the water from it kind of pouring over as she does. She basically splatters down onto the gravel in front of you, and she starts like slithering and crawling a little bit, some of the rocks getting stuck to her thin skin. As her head turns, this almost like unnaturally sharp angle to look up at you, and she just beams as she like starts down at your feet all the way up to your eyes. Just
very handsome indeed, Decker.
What should we call you?
Go ahead and call me Alaris, because she has lost most of her identity to me anyway.
Right. Well, Alaris, why are you tormenting her so?
Well, this poor woman has felt the sting, the immense weight of guilt, and I love it.
I suppose you do, but you do realize she's an old woman. She won't be here much longer. Why not release her? I'm sure there's somebody else, younger, fresher, and more deserving of your attention.
Are you offering?
No, of course not. Not the kind of guilt that you would like. But the world is so very large.
you see her kind of like snap her head in this very quick, sudden motion over to Jarek, kind of staring through Thor at the man hidden in the bush. And you can like, she goes like a little...
It seems that one of you has my particular flavor.
Don't know what you talk about, lady.
So Valorant, as your companions are having a nice, pleasant dialogue, coming over to this scene near the pond, it's almost like watching a video being played on repeat. She keeps thrusting the boy's hands in the water and very furiously kind of scrubbing at them, and the blood just seems to seep more and more into the water, turning the entire pond this pale pink color, and it's gradually growing even a deeper shade of red. But then she'll pull the hands out, kind of flip them over, seeing that they're still stained, shoving them back in the water and scraping them again. As you step behind them, even, you know, clearing your throat or trying to touch them or just make your presence known, it appears that they are just unaware that you are there.
Or even just speaking to them, kneeling down beside them in the water.
The only reaction you can get is if you touch them. It seems that goes through. So if you were to like shove them or grab them or anything of that nature, that physical force is transferred, but they don't seem to hear you or acknowledge you or see you.
I want to reach for her hands. Just to take them.
Okay. So you reach down, and as her hands are kind of intermingled with the boy's hands, you grab her wrists, and they kind of lock in place, and her vision turns to look in your general direction, but, seems to stare through you and off into the distance.
I think I'll just try to take her hands out of the water and just hang on to them for a moment.
So as you hold her hands in place, no longer able to mess with the younger boy's hands, he kind of like glances over confused, stands up, and starts walking kind of casually back towards where his victim lies.
Unfortunately, and I'll just like put my sword kind of in the, I assume it's pretty big, I'll put it in like the vision line of the lady, like between the lady and Jarek.
Mm-hmm.
He is not on the market for you. But I am curious about you as well.
Well, you're rather large. Lots of opportunity for despair.
Yeah, I don't have that much. Don't think I could offer you that much either. But I'm curious about your current despair and how much you actually know about it.
What do you want to know, my guest?
Well, it seems that this boy over here, and I'll point to what I assume to be Novin,
Mm-hmm.
seems to have a lot of trouble. Apparently, it looks like he killed this girl. How much do you know about any of what's going on here? Also, Caspian, how much do you know about what's going on there?
Learning as we go.
So as you speak, Thor, she crawls... Yes?
Oh, I was gonna say, can I try to sneak around to like over?
Give me a
next to
stealth
him?
check, sir.
Do I get an attack of opportunity?
Against me?
Just curious.
I'm lucky that one.
Okay.
8. Yep.
Fucking say it, god damn it! I'll take the 9.
Okay. Because of the... Well, I guess you're not pissing your pants, you're just pissing down your loincloth at this point. Because of the unnerving scene presented in front of you, it's rather difficult to stay stealthy. It's clear to you that even as you try to, like, glide around, that your presence is being tracked.
But am I able to get over there then?
I mean, you can, but you just won't, like, stealthily get over there.
Ah, that's fine. I'll
Okay.
deposit myself right about there.
Okay. So Thor, as you're speaking, she begins crawling across the gravel, her skin being kind of dragged by the rough surface, before she like latches her hand on the back of your calf and starts pulling herself slowly up your body until her face is like pressed right up against your nose, and she just tilts her head to the side, kind of swirling it back and forth in your vision.
What is your name?
Thor.
Well, Thor, I know everything about this wretched woman that I have found, and she has given me everything I desire. And I imagine you're not going to change that.
Well, I may not be able to. But they might be able to.
kind of like letting her head fall back. You hear this like pop pop of her neck as she literally looks all the way behind her, kind of scanning to Jarek and then over to Valorant before snapping her head back onto her neck properly. And she just shrugs slightly and kind of like pulls you in closer.
Then I shall see you at the end.
And as she speaks, her form begins to drift out of focus, her smile being the last thing in your vision before she just fades away.
All right, later on, lady. See you at the end. Freaking creepy people. So what do we have to do? We have to fix this? What are we fixing?
I'd like to give old Braun before Novin, whatever. This kid, the one, look at him, see if I can tell which of the two it is.
So it's pretty obvious that Braun and Novin, the older versions that you do know, look slightly different. They're close enough that it's in passing, you'd be like, oh, that's probably the same person. As you sit there examining him, he's knelt back down beside the servant girl, continuing his work. It seems that no matter how long he's left to do it, that he doesn't actually make any progress on his current task. But like judging by the facial features and kind of ducking down to see a better view of his face, it's clear that this is Novin as a child.
Look at this blood circle.
What color are his eyes right now? Just...
They would be blue, both of them.
So looking around away from the main scene, do I see anything else that's noteworthy or?
So currently right now, you would see Jarek and Thor by the younger version of Novin, the fountain, the red pond that's now a dark maroon color, Valorant holding the hands of Alaris, who she seems to like almost be frozen, whether it's in fear or some disconnect of the memory, is just simply kind of standing there with her hands being held by, to her, an invisible force, just staring off towards the west.
Can I move the girl on the ground?
Yes.
I'd like to pick her up and just reposition her somewhere else, to see if the boy follows the girl or if he's stuck to the scene.
Describe to me where you're moving her.
I'll just pick her up and take her over, lay her on this bench here.
Okay. So moving down and scooping up this servant girl, that she is about halfway through the process of being almost completely deskinned, starting from the lower half and moving up. So however you want to grab that and shifting it across, you would see the young boy knelt down beside her, just look after it as it slowly is pulled away, and then staring back down at the position she was, and then just kind of repeating that process, just moving his head to where it is, back down, back to where, wherever you've moved it a few more feet, and then back down.
Okay, and then after I moved it, is there anything else there besides blood?
No, there would be the obviously the blood soaked into the ground and the circle that would kind of been started. There's the knife that he's now picked up at this point that was cast aside when he was pulled away. But besides that, she's just a blank, bloody spot now.
And then I guess the last thing, I'd like to take some water out of the fountain and wash the circle away if I could.
Okay. It's hard to wash it away because it is in gravel, so there's a little bit of dirt and stone kind of mixed in. But using the water from the fountain, it's clear that you're disrupting the blood and kind of shoving it around and making the circle less clear. So.
Where are we, by the way?
I think we're in her mind.
No, I know that. I know where we are, but where is this?
We're in the Castle Kraylin. It's
Oh.
quite familiar to me, really. Well,
And can you talk to her, Valoran? She seems stuck.
I can touch her, but she won't acknowledge me in any other way.
No, the book said we had to fix her memory. Is that what do we have to do?
Well, all right. Well, let's traumatize some lady, and Jarek will go ahead and cast Disguise Self, to mirror Novin. Wait, how small is this kid?
Like 2 or 3.
I misunderstood the situation. I will not do that. Rakan. What are we supposed to do? Clean the kid up or something?
I believe she has to move on. Let go of her feelings of responsibility for the monster of a child that Novin was.
So what happens if you let go? Or I don't know if you have let go or not.
I think she'll start all over with what she was just doing. What if I take her, she came from the direction that, like, we're kind of standing in?
The
Is that right?
southeast path is where she came from.
Okay, so, I want to take her hand and just try to lead her to the north and just lead her away from the scene.
Okay. So yes, as you have a hold of her, she would just kind of almost mindlessly follow after you, just like holding her hands kind of limply in front of her, and you guide her up north.
Where
Yeah,
did you say she was? Sorry.
just
I
to
was
the
just
north, just away, just walking away.
So as you lead her along, you would just see her head turning as far as it can, staring back at basically younger Novin, I guess at this point is the best way to refer to him, until the point where she can't like all the way turn to see it, and then she just kind of stares blankly ahead, just holding her hands out with you.
I'll see if I can grab Novin's hand and take him along with her.
How far can we get?
Do you want to keep going?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
hold on. In the first instance, didn't you say she was turning her head westward? Was she looking at Novin or was she looking past Novin?
She was looking, you could probably assume, at Novin, but the fountain was between
Okay.
them.
Gotcha.
So you're just going to continue going north with her?
Yeah,
For a little longer.
and I'd like to follow. I'd like to take Novin away from the scene with them.
Okay. So as you two begin leading them farther and farther north, the ground beneath you actually beginning to fade away. I guess, Valoran, you're leading this, correct?
Yeah.
Eventually, as the ground begins to grow fuzzy, your steps feeling as if they're almost like sinking into like a muddy texture almost. Eventually, as you go to take one step, you feel yourself tumbling forward, and you're immediately sucked into this black void surrounding the scene. Go ahead and no.
I'm right there behind him. Can I try to grab him?
You're leading Novin along.
Yeah, just with one hand. But I was right.
Give me a dex check. We'll see.
I'm theoretically good at those.
I believe in you.
Huh. How about that?
So, Valorant, as you feel yourself tumbling, Decker, as you're watching from the rear, you see Valorant fall, and you see the appearance of this woman snap out of existence. And then Thor and Jarek, you would see her plop back into the scene where you would initially come in. Valorant, you are going to... Where the hell is it? You're going to take 15 points of falling damage, and then return back to where you initially found yourself in the scene.
Well, that wasn't it.
Do we just see him fall from the sky, or like...
Yeah, you would see him kind of like tumbling, and right before he's about to like make impact, he's like whipped around to standing and then dumped on the ground.
I was kind of out of reaction, just turned to face him. What happened?
I fell.
So
Hey,
as
Decker, throw the kid over.
And then I just shove him with my boot forward.
So you would see him just kind of mindlessly stumble and then snap back to where he originally was. And as this happens, you would see Alaris running back over. Bron, what have you done? And grabbing his hands and leading him away from the scene again.
You know, my money is on, we gotta drown the kid and wash away his... Just shove him all the way in the fountain, wash him clean. Not just his hands, but maybe his head, body, whatever.
You want to drown a kid? You think that's going to solve her problem?
It's a memory of a kid, so it's not really a kid.
It's like drowning your memories with alcohol, only different.
We're trying to address her guilt. That is not going to make her feel less guilty.
What if we move the body? I mean, I know you already did.
Who's the girl? Jericho, go check out the chick. Said she's only skinned from the waist down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so her face should be intact.
You wouldn't recognize her?
How did she die? Like, what actually killed her?
It seems that her throat has been slit.
But this little boy, could he have actually accomplished this?
Can I get the knife that he's holding?
Yes. Well, he's dropped it once Alaris kind of grabs him and runs off, so it's just laying on the ground now.
I'd like to pick that up and keep it.
Okay.
I'd follow them over. Does she like say anything to him?
So as she's sitting there kind of like rinsing his hands over and over again, she just keeps going, "He'll be all right. He'll be okay. You don't know what you're doing, right? Right, Bron, dear?" And just continues washing his hands.
Thor, throw him in the lake. Or pond.
Wait, not yet. I'd like to go over to where she's at.
Okay.
And, you're right, Alaris. He's just a boy. He didn't know what he was doing. How could he?
It doesn't seem that your words have any effect.
I say it again in Draconic.
Doesn't seem to have any effect.
I'm gonna go over, and can I put my hands in the blood?
Yeah.
Okay. And I imagine my hands are now blood stained.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm gonna try to go back, and I'm gonna grab what I assume to be Alaris's hand, arm, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And can I try to write on it?
Sure. Can Thor read yet?
Four
letter letters. I can write four letter words.
Four.
Four?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 4.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'll use Decker for an assistance on this last one, but I'm going to attempt to write it's not your fault. And since fault is 5 letters, I'll just be like FOLT. And
I'll help you. We'll make sure it gets spelled right.
Okay. So you write this on her arm, and again, when you're like grabbing her arm to hold it steady to write, she just kind of like stares down at it for a second and then stares directly at Novin. After you're done writing, you see her turn back to her arm, and it's clear that she like sees the writing, reads it potentially, and then like looks back over at Novin, back down at the writing, and then back at Novin, and starts, unless you're holding her arm, begin cleaning his hands again.
that was my best idea.
You think she just wants the hands clean?
I think so.
Alright, Jarek will pop over and try to prestidigitate clean hands.
So, during one of the moments where she pulls the hands out to examine them to see if they're clean, you go ahead and depart your magical ability, and you shed the blood from his hands being clean for the first time. And as she starts flipping them over, she grows this kind of hesitant smile and then clutches the small boy's hands to her chest like, "He'll be all right. Everything's gonna be all right." And the scene begins to fade away around you. Gotta do a little bit of prep here.
Yo, good job, Seth. You did it.
I'm glad I chose that one first.
Ball.
So as the scene fades away, the kind of soft-spoken words of Alarise kind of drifting into the abyss, another scene begins to rise, almost like a quickly ascending elevator towards your feet, all of you very gently resting your feet on this hardwood floor. And now again, Decker, you would recognize this room, or at least the interior bits of this room, as kind of like the master bedroom of Castle Kralin. And he's all set down. You see a somewhat closer in age Alarise to the one that you had met in the courtyard, sat in a nice chair. There's a bit of medical like tools and bandages and food set beside her on the table. I would assume also, Decker, you would be somewhat familiar with the appearance of Aurelius, which is Duke Braun's father, and you would see him laying in the bed looking rather frail and ill. And as you're all set down, you begin hearing their voices going back and forth, the old man's voice coming out initially. "Dear, I know that this is the end, and I don't want to go to our Creator knowing that we did it wrong." Alarise kind of gets up from her chair, closing the distance to the bed, grabbing her husband's hands in her own, kind of clutching them and listening to him intently as his voice kind of shakes on the edge of death. "I don't think what we did was right. I don't want my son to grow up a refugee from his own home. Promise me, my love, that you will find our boy, and you will tell him the truth." She kind of nods her head slowly, kind of kneeling down even closer. "Yes, my dear, yes. Don't worry, I will make sure that our son is brought home, and that he knows who his father was." And they begin to slowly kind of embrace each other in this silent understanding. And as they do, this is going to take a second. Let me... Whoop. That work? That worked. Okay. And as they begin to embrace, and the scene almost kind of comes to a standstill, you begin to see pairs of eyes reflecting off in the dim darkness of the edge of this scene. And then slowly, different figures of Novin lookalikes, for lack of a better term, begin to come out of the darkness. They're all roughly about 20 years of age. They have slightly different facial features, slightly different hair. They're all wielding different implements. Some are holding forks, some are holding rakes, some are holding knives and swords. They're all armed in one way or another, all their eyes trained in on the old couple embracing in the bed. And they begin to just kind of slowly move in. Everyone roll initiative. Okay. 21, 18, 16, 5. So, Thor, Valoran, Decker.
I need to roll initiative for.
She can just share yours if you want to go ahead and do that. And I'll go ahead and forgot to throw her in here. I'll put on the wrong layer. Yoink. Got a, I think it's this. No, this. There we go. Okay. All right. So, Thor, as you are taking in this scene, listening into this conversation, and you begin seeing the, I guess, the circle or the ring of Nova Knights moving in closer and closer, you grab hold of your sword and get the first move, sir.
I'll just kind of say, I think we have to protect them, and I will move. Trying to figure out the best way to go. 5. Whoa, what just happened? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Maybe I'll go here.
Okay.
And I will go ahead and use one of Shard's Edge abilities to throw out the shards at the two in front of me.
Okay.
And I'll bonus action rage. Just,
All right.
For, let's see. And then, what do I have to do with this again? I have to roll to hit. I think I'm allowed to add dexterity and proficiency, right?
Yep.
So that's +5. So 18.
Okay. You're rolling for both, right? Like that your single roll applies to both, right? Or is it separate? I forgot what we rolled on that one.
I thought we did single roll applies to both.
I think that's what we landed on. So, Valorant, go ahead and give me a perception check, but that does hit.
Okay.
Okay.
So 10 damage going out.
Okay. So as you race away from your companions, kind of getting near the fringe of the scene, you throw out your Shard's Edge, you see the blade splintering into its pieces and darting off into the darkness, and as they sail through these young men, large, almost cinematic or dramatic bursts of blood go racing out of the other side of their body, this look of like shock and horror on their face, both of them as they are hit with the blades and kind of thrown back, let out this and then disappear into this like drifting, swirling dust before they fade away.
Okay. And then I'll go back 10-ish feet. Or I'll go right there. And that'll be the end of my turn.
Okay.
I got a 19.
Yeah. So Valoran, as the scene starts playing out and you see Thor kind of darting off behind you and hearing these strangely twisted cries of panic for their mother, you begin to hear the slight conversation still taking place between Alaris and Aurelis, kind of leaning in to listen. You hear them simply repeating back and forth to them, "Find our son, find our son, find our son, find our son." And then it's your turn, sir.
All right. I will move. I know her chair is there. Am I able to get there?
Yeah, you'd basically just be standing either on the chair or like right in front of it.
Yeah. Okay. Um. I will. What's an action? I'm gonna attack the one that's in front of me.
Okay. Okay. So as you leap onto the chair, wielding your glaive, you lash out at the limit, seeing the blade slicing through the young man, and again this like over-glorified, massive splatter of blood takes place. This kind of like filling your vision for a split second, and again you hear that "Mada!" and then his form turns to dust and then drifts away.
And then I will ask of the group, ask out loud, are they all the same? And stop my turn there.
Okay. Decker, you are up, sir.
I'll yell at her. Alaris, tell them to stop.
Doesn't seem to have an effect.
And I don't have control of my owl.
Oh yeah, sorry, my bad. There you go, sir. Oh no, there you go.
There we go. So she'll fly here, and give me the help action, and then blast back here. I'll move in and cast Booming Blade on him.
Okay.
Oh, that's damage. Sorry, my bad.
Okay. Ooh. Well, with help, don't you get advantage?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, racing forward as Aurora darts into this individual, him like wielding a rake, begins trying to like bat away the owl, and as it like does a wide swing to throw Aurora off of him, you dart your blade into his chest, and even though it's just this simple push of your thin blade into him, the other side of his body releases this giant bloody explosion as again he clutches his chest and goes and then begins drifting away.
And then I will finish my movement and come here, see if they'll focus on me.
Okay. We're down to you, Jarek.
With a quick think, we've seen Novin twice. The first time in the cave at Butcher's Hole, he was in his, 40s? Or was he in his 20s looking? I think he was in his 20s.
You're talking about the monastery?
Well,
That would
yeah,
be the
it would
first
be the
time you saw him.
same guy. Yeah, okay.
The first
So,
time you saw him in the monastery was the youngest version you've seen of him, except for, I guess, the ones you see now, but they're not Novin. They look roughly like Novin.
Right. Find the right one. Tell with it. I'll try it. I'll disguise self as the monastery.
Give me a deception check.
Look, not with the eye though, but yeah. Yeah, I'm okay with
What are you doing exactly, sir?
So I'll disguise myself as Novin without the big ass eye on it, and then go up to her and just say, "Mother, is that you?"
So as you step beside her, the old man that's still kind of laid out in the bed, speaking softly back and forth with her, for the first time in these scenes, in this space you find yourself in, one of the individuals, the old man, actually makes eye contact with you. You see the color draining from his face, and he lifts an old decrepit hand up towards you, and he goes, "Son." And then Aurelius turns to look at you, and you begin to see tears begin to well in her eyes as she leaps for you. But before she can actually get her arms around you, the scene begins to fade away. Okay. So, as this scene fades, these gang of Novanites disappearing off into the distance, another scene, a warm interior lighting, begins drifting up towards you as you rest down in your third scene. Thor, you are immediately familiar with this parlor. You know it intimately. And as you sit down in the front parlor of Castle Kralin, you see across the table from you Alaris, somewhat between the younger version you had seen and the older version you had seen, in this middle-aged looking appearance. Beside her is this similarly aged woman. They're both holding cups of tea, and what you would imagine to be a mid-teens Novin is on the floor, messing with some toy soldiers and a little wooden sword he has beside him as they are conversing to one another. I don't want to go about this. Give me one moment. Does anyone have any immediate actions?
I'm gonna touch him.
Touch Novin.
Is there anything actually dangerous that is near him on the floor?
No. There's like a model metal cannon that I guess you could bludgeon someone to death with, but not immediately dangerous. Okay.
I guess I'd probably come out of my rage and can I go over to them
Sure.
and see what they're saying? If they're saying anything?
Okay. So, Thor, as you begin to move forward, you see the second woman, which you can assume is Feriam, the actual mother of Novin, just from the context clues around, and kind of catching the middle of their conversation, it almost like jolting into your ears. Varium turns over to Nova and goes, "Dear, why don't you go get your gift for the lady? I'm sure she'd appreciate it." And you see Novin kind of looking up from his position and then darting off into the darkness. There's a brief moment where, the two ladies are just kind of like sitting there sipping their tea before he comes back wielding a familiar, mundane-looking wooden box. And he comes running back up to the table and he sets it down onto the coffee table. And as he does, he's like, "Lady, it's nothing extravagant, and I know that you prefer much nicer things, but I made you a music box." And he sets it down on the table and then flips the lid over, letting the tune begin to play. And you recognize the music box as the one that the old lady was clutching back in the courtyard. And as it begins to play, Varium kind of looks at him again, kind of nodding her head, like, "Why don't you run along, Novin? Go find Braun, see what he's up to." And he kind of nods, kind of looks a little bit cheery, grabs the wooden sword he has, and then darts out of the room. As he is turning to run away, leaving this parlor, Varium kind of keeping her eye on him, you would all notice Alaris leaning forward and uncorking a little vial and tipping it into the teapot between them, and then quickly stowing it back in her pocket before returning to drinking her tea. Varium turns back to the table, taking the last sip of her tea, kind of looking into the cup, realizing that she's empty, reaches down to pour a cup.
Stop! Can
I was gonna say, can I slap it out?
Yeah, can I just dive across the table and knock it away?
Give me both of you give me a dex check. Stab.
God damn it.
Oh, did mine not go through?
I haven't seen it, no. Okay. So as you both are witnessing this scene, Thor, what are you doing?
So if I can, I'd like to basically step on the table trying to crush the pot as well as slap the cup out if I could, or like at least kick the teapot out of the way, just like trying to make it crumble.
So as you slam your heavy foot on the table, the teapot like shakes and slips to its side, the contents kind of pouring off of it, and you reach for it and slap the cup out of her dainty hands. It's sailing off into the black void at the edge of the scene. You see her staring down confused at the place where the cup of tea was, and then you hear a familiar voice coming from the young Alaris beside you.
No, you're not going to do this to me. You're not going to take away my food, my dessert. You're not going to stop me, Thor. And you see
Alaris leaning forward from this chair, her elegant demeanor of a noble woman kind of shifting into that grotesque kind of crawling motion, grabs the table, begins going down and licking up the poison tea from the floor as she's like half covering the table. Varium just sat there kind of shell-shocked on the couch.
I will I'll come over and haul her off the table, and with lay on hands I attempt to cure the poison that she's ingested.
Okay.
And then, so where are the contents of the teapot? Like, what are they on?
Like the floor and the rug underneath you?
Okay.
Can
JD, can you like clean this up? Clean it up. Clean it up.
Is there a fireplace going right now?
There is.
I'll throw it in the fire.
I mean, you can throw the rug in the fire, but if it's on the floor, that's more what I was...
I mean, that's not gonna fix it.
Let me pause everybody real quick. So, Valor, as you grab this quickly devolving Alaris, kind of pulling her away from the contents and filling your hands with the familiar energy that you use to dispel or cure whatever poison or ailment that you can find, you feel her skin beneath your hands begin to sink, to depress into her form, almost as if you were like melting your grip through her body. And eventually you hit something that feels solid, this singular, almost like rock solid mass in the middle. And as you touch it, you hear her voice shifting and twisting and growing louder and louder. No! And as she lets out her final scream, your ears begin to ring with the ferocity of just how close in proximity and how highly pitched it gets. And all of a sudden, a massive fissure cracks across the scene, the table splintering in two, the fireplace tilting away from the center of the room, before the entire scene beneath your feet begins to devolve into smaller and smaller cracks, splitting and opening the ground beneath you, opening into this strange, purpling, swirling, misting void, and then the entire world gives out from beneath your feet. Everyone roll me a 1d4. Oh, there's so much clicking on this shit. So we got, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2. Okay, so Jarek, you're on 2. Decker, you're on 1. Thor, you're on 1. Okay. Okay. All right. So as the world gives out from beneath your feet and you all begin feeling you are falling at this rapid, violent pace, the wind, or I guess supposedly, hopefully the wind, kind of whipping past your body, and all of a sudden you find yourselves tossed unceremoniously onto the earth. Decker and Thor, you are tossed into this thick, sticky red liquid. You think at first that it might just be like a puddle or some strange water, but as you begin to lift your hand and get yourself off the ground, you realize you've been dumped in this pool of blood about 2 feet deep. Valoran and Jarek, as you land, you seem to fall into somewhat a familiar ruin of the bedroom on this strange segmented island that seems to be floating for the moment in this large void, and in front of you is this twisted and demonic version of Alaris. She now stands 80, 90 feet tall, various versions of this woman jutting out of her body, wings, babies, bits of Novin, and whatever strange concoction of these memories mashed into this mangled totem of flesh, that creepy, ever-present smirk kind of twisting itself around at the top of this massive pole. And she just stares down at the two of you and then over at the two in the pool and just grins. After about a moment or two, everyone roll initiative again, she jumps into the sky, leaps, the wings kind of giving you this immense gust that, like, I guess Valorant and Jarek, you would feel this air pressure kind of pushing against you, having to put your feet firm on the ground so you're not sent off the edge, and you see her just disappear into a small pinprick in the sky. Okay, and where is initiative? We got, good job there, Jarek. So we got Jarek, and then Decker, and then Val, and then Thor. Is anyone doing anything at the exact moment?
She's gone, right?
Yes, for now.
Can I try to jump? See what that does?
So to jump, like, in place?
Yeah, just like see how high off the ground I can get.
I mean, you would just...
Like, is it just like normal?
Yeah. To help describe the scene around you real quick, now that nothing is smiling at you. There are 4 distinct separate islands, each of them mimicking the scenes that you had been brought through up until this point. Excuse me. There's bits of scene or rubble or rock kind of drifting at varying elevations between the platforms, some of them reasonably close enough that you imagine you could hop or cling from one to the other. But that's roughly kind of what is going on around you. And outside of the immediate area, it's that familiar black void that you'd seen surrounding all of the scenes. But looking down, it's hard to judge how far down it is, but you see this, like, ever-present, swirling, shifting, glittering, sparkling purple and black essence, just kind of constantly shifting. So, anything before initiative?
Valoran just turns in place and calls out, "You've made a hog of yourself, beast, and hogs are slaughtered."
Okay.
Rob, were you going to say something? I might have interrupted you earlier.
No, that's fine.
Thor, give me a dexterity saving throw. You do not get advantage.
Because I can't see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh. So as you are standing up in this pool of blood, kind of taking stock of what's going on around you, doing your little just to make sure that, you know, gravity still applies to you, you look up, kind of following the trail of Alaris darting off into the sky. And as you look up, you are immediately met with this heavy, hard impact that sends you back down into the pool. Decker, as you look over and kind of hear the commotion, you see a copy of one of the servant girls, the one from that initial scene, has landed on top of you. What was the...
Wait,
Not you, Decker.
Okay.
Thor, sorry.
Okay.
If that wasn't clear. Thor, you would take 1 point of damage, sir. Wait, you are knocked back prone. Your body is, I guess, covered by this mutilated girl, and you are pushed back down to the bloody pool beneath your feet. And it is now your turn.
It's my turn?
No, Thor's turn.
It's my turn?
Yeah, you're the highest. Oh, Jarek. Oh, whoopsie daisy. I'm sorry, I had both the initiatives written down, and I went off the wrong one. My bad. Jarek, give me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, god damn it, Dev.
Thor, none of that happened to you.
Wait, do you want me to take the point of damage
you
away?
can take the point of damage off. Sorry about that.
Okay.
We'll let you re-roll when it gets to your turn. Jarek, as you watch Alaris dart into the sky, and you look up following her trail, you see this blurry bit of motion rocketing down towards you, and realizing it's heading in your direction, you take a singular step back as a sickening of this dead servant girl landing at your feet, her blood kind of blasting out in a very intense circle, landing in front of you. And as it lands in front of you, you begin hearing plop, 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 and looking around, you just see massive amounts of this servant girl just raining down on the various bits of the terrain, the different platforms, hitting the rocks, bouncing off the side and into the void. It is now your turn, sir.
Yeah, no, why not?
Oh, you need to,
Nobles. Okay.
Oh, shit. No, fuck.
It-
Damn
No? Okay.
it. Sorry.
Oh god, how far? I might be able to make it. Kind of look over there, see that the boys are fine. And just walk over to the edge and... You got it, kid, don't worry. And give Decker some bardic inspiration. What in God's name is happening with these tokens?
Sorry. I'm doing stuff on the fly. Ignore me. Okay, so you give,
and I guess that's all I can do.
Okay.
I don't see anything to kill.
So
Was that a
shouting.
bonus action? Oh, sorry. Is your inspiration a bonus action?
Yeah.
You could take a dodge action.
Oh shit, that's right. That's a thing. I've never done it before. Yes.
I wonder why Jarek always dies.
I'll take a dodge action.
So, Jarek, as you step to the side and shout out your inspiration across the void, you would, as the bodies continue to fall, you see that massive totem of Alaris and Novans descending into the center of this small arena, her smirk kind of traveling in this weird spiral, glancing at you two and the other two and spinning back around to look at you all again, and she just comes to rest in the center, floating there, just watching the bodies rain down upon you. And we are to Decker.
How far? Let's see. Am I able to jump 10 feet?
Yes.
Let's see. 1. I probably couldn't make it. Can I stand on these things here?
So the smaller ones, You can either balance on them and you're kind of precariously perched, and I'll give you disadvantage on the majority of your actions, or you can hold on to them, like you're holding on to them above your head, and you're less precarious, but you're not able to do anything with your hands. That's the two options I think I can give you.
Okay. I'll have. I can't make it here in one turn, can I?
Well, you're jumping to. Let me grab my ruler. There to there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I guess I could.
You have to do 2 acrobatics checks, but yeah, you could.
Okay. You want me to roll both of those now?
Yep.
I'll just roll it at advantage, and that'll roll 2. So
Works for me. Okay, I would be amazed if you fucked that one up.
yeah, it seemed possible. All right, so and just preceding me, Aurora would come, dart in, and attempt to give me the help action.
I'm assuming you're choosing to land on it with your feet and kind of balance. Okay.
And is she able to give me the help action?
Yes.
All right. So I would like to attack her with Booming Blade.
Okay.
And so I would be attacking at a disadvantage?
Well, you had advantage because of the help action, so you'd just be rolling flat.
Right, yeah, so it'd just be flat. All right, got it.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, my screen's freezing up. Hold on.
Good.
There we go.
And you have a D8 if you ever need it.
I might need it.
That does not hit.
Can I add the D8 or no?
Yes.
All right, here we go.
That would hit.
Okay. And so it's
You also have to add your initial booming blade damage, correct?
yeah, so that's going to be 2d8.
Is that your initial damage, or is that the damage dealt when she moves?
Or no, yeah, that's the damage dealt when she moves.
I think it's just like 1d6 or 1d8 when you hit?
Yeah.
Okay. So, you want to just take that 1?
Yeah, that's fine, take the 1.
Okay, so 20 damage?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then bonus action disengage and jump over here.
How many? So that was 5, 10, 25 feet of movement? You have 30 feet total?
Oh, no, yeah, never mind. I guess I'm staying right where I'm at, aren't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I'll brace.
Okay.
So
Brace gives them disadvantage when attacking you?
No, you let's see here. When it moves into shit. Never mind. Braces did have to move into my space.
Mm-hmm.
Then I will do nothing.
Sounds right. So as you leap onto the stone, you kind of like wobble ever so slightly and jut out with your rapier as Aurora flies off into the void. You sink your blade into a bit of the flesh. Again, this is a immense structure that towers up into the sky. As you feel your blade sink in, one of the stray baby hands comes whipping around the side and attempts to catch you as it twists around the body. What's your AC, sir?
Right now it's 18.
Okay. As it comes whipping around, it's stubby enough that you catch it out of the peripheral vision and duck. It's sailing over your head as these, like, short but sharp talons recede back into the tiny fingers. And that is your turn, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. Valorant. Dex save.
Dex save? Okay.
Okay. So as everything is going on and you begin to hear the raining of dead bodies, you get the general idea and look up. And as you look up, you step back and you see one of the bodies landing at your feet. One of the arms kind of grotesquely bent in the wrong direction. And it's your turn, sir.
All right. So I will kind of move up to the corner here and sort of call out to the sky. You did the best you could. Punishing yourself serves nothing.
Okay.
And I will cast a spiritual weapon to appear directly next to the monster.
What is your spiritual weapon, sir?
Oh, I think it's gotta be a spear of light.
Spear.
And it will attack. Let's see. First time I've ever cast this here.
Yeah, you can attack on like whenever you summon
Melee
it.
makes a melee spell attack, so it's going to use my spell modifier. Is that right?
That sounds
Yep.
right.
Damn.
That is a miss, sir.
All right. Well, that'll be my turn.
All right. Thor. Your turn, sir.
Alright. Do I get advantage because I have deja vu?
No.
Okay. Well,
You don't have to do a dex save right now.
What?
You don't have to do it.
Oh. I thought I did. Okay.
No. You're good.
Never mind.
Fake PTSD.
Oh, okay. Cool. So if I'm standing on the edge here
Mm-hmm.
and I look over the side,
Mm-hmm.
there's just a black swirling ball of mass.
It's more like there's a giant bowl of or
Okay.
like swirling energy, and it's probably, again, very hard to judge, but like multiple hundreds of feet down beneath you.
So it's like the typhoon in like one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I don't remember which one.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. Then never mind that. I will just go ahead and rage. As my bonus action. Mark that off, and then I'll just go ahead and use one of Shard's Edge abilities to try to hit. I need a d20 plus 5. So 17.
That hits.
Okay. And then 3d4 plus 2.
Okay.
So 11 damage. And then, so 5. 10. Is that, I assume that's a space. I don't know if that is or not.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so can I jump over to here?
Mm-hmm.
15, 20?
You're gonna have to give me 3 acrobatics checks.
Okay. Acrobatics.
Ah, fuck. So you jump to the first one. What? Say something? No, okay. You jump to the first one, kind of keeping an eye on the enemy in the center, kind of judging the distance, making sure that you're within range. You jump to the second, and as you're still focused in on her, you go to jump to the third, and your foot slips, not giving you enough momentum to make the leap, and you kind of bash your chest against the stone, and then begin falling into the void.
Reaction Featherfall, please.
Okay. Is that within range? You just checked?
Yeah, I think I'm like 5 feet.
Okay. So as you hit the rock, bounce off, and begin to fall, you feel the momentum begin to build up. And so all of a sudden it feels like there's a bunch of pillows kind of underneath you holding you in place, and you begin to very slowly descend.
Into the void.
Yeah, into the void. However, I'm supposed to get out of that. I guess I'll end my turn falling.
Well, you could draw the blade back if you want.
No, I can't. Bonus
because
action.
you... Ah, okay. As
Nate,
you begin...
I meant to say I forgot to apply my sneak attack damage too, if you want to give it to me or not. But
didn't it? There was a 9 sneak attack?
was there?
Yeah, there was 10 piercing damage, 9 sneak attack, and then your 1 for booming blade, so it was 20 total.
Okay, it rolled it. Got it. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. Thor, as you begin to fall very slowly away from the security of the big rock, the boulder, the fleshy pillar in the center of the space, the the top head, twists down towards you, that sneering, turning into this horrible grimace before it strikes down like a cobra, the top of the column spiraling towards you and then lashing out with you at its claws. So we're going to put it there for now. What's your AC right now?
15.
That hits. Where's
Do I get a reaction on it as it?
Yeah,
goes
you get
away?
opportunity attack if you want.
Is that with booming blade?
Oh,
Yeah, it would be.
that too. So the booming blade damage was it 9?
No, I think booming blade. Actually, no. That I think that only happens when it.
Moves into your space.
When it moves towards me of its own free will. Let's see here.
Well, let me give you your damage, sir. It is 4 damage, and that is halved for you, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind. The booming would proc.
Okay, so that's 9 damage. What you rolled earlier? The 2d8?
Yeah. And then I would also.
Yeah.
And then. I'll make another attack on it. And so that would be.
That hits.
Gotta double that. Damn.
Okay,
see.
so that would be
Six.
14, 28. So 28 total?
Yeah, and
Because they're both dice rolls.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, no, the
and-
piercing damage
Wait,
was...
No. Yeah. It's 6 plus 7, so 13.
Yeah, so
Plus-
17. No, that would be 8. 21 total.
Then
What was the second roll for?
did I roll damage twice?
Yeah. But it looks like 21 with your critical hit.
Yeah.
Okay. Works for me. So as it begins diving away, the tail end of the column kind of lazily following the head after a few moments, you jab into it again, and you hear a screaming cry wailing out of one of the young Alarice's heads kind of plastered to the side as it flings away and goes after Thor, which it then scrapes at you.
Just as I'm slowly falling, I'll just be like, Valorant, we need your smite!
And then back up to Jarek. Odds are even, sir.
Odds.
Give me a dexterity saving throw, sir.
Forget to add 5.
Oh. Add 5?
Mm-hmm.
Delightful, then that's a 12.
So as you see Thor begin to fall, your residual energy of Featherfall reaching him, Valoran kind of behind you goes, "Argh!" And you look up and step back just in time for a body to land at your feet yet again, kind of giving him a nod, and then to your turn, sir.
Thanks, Valorn. Quick for insight on this, I guess. Does this seem to be Alaris, or is it the demon thing?
Give me an insight.
Oh yeah, I have to actually roll on that. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck, I don't even know what to do. Okay, I know I can catch Thor with that, so, call out to Thor. Just grab the rock. Just grab the rock and give him some bardic inspiration.
Okay.
And then looking at the big demon flesh tower thing, I'm in range for this. Just yell out to her, you're a lot prettier in the real world, and viciously mock her.
Oh, that cuts deep.
I'm sorry.
It's not cutting words, okay?
Yeah, I know.
True.
Wisdom save of 15.
Okay, and that's 5 psychic damage. And are any effects on that?
Disadvantage on her next attack.
Ah, sweet. So, Thor, give me a attack of opportunity, sir.
With my fist?
Yes.
Okay. Sure.
That hits.
So
Does Sentinel apply to unarmed strikes?
I don't know. Good question.
I think it does, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It says a melee weapon attack.
We'll say that you're using the hilt.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of am. I mean, if you want to count that, yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead and roll damage for me then, sir.
Well, it's just gonna be my 6
Is
plus
there
2.
a size limit to Sentinel?
No.
There is not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, broken as fuck.
So what was the damage?
So it's just 8 damage
Just
flat.
8? Okay.
Yeah.
So as you see Jarek step up to the edge and you're glancing over at him halfway like, thanks for saving me, but what the fuck am I gonna do? You see the horrible, grotesque, like, snake monster that is clawing at you kind of wince a little bit, the top of it kind of almost like shivering and quivering before it lets out this cackling cry and whips around, and you see it begin to dart off towards Jarek. Before it can, you just shove your entire fist into its flesh, jamming your hand into it. As it tries to wrench free, you feel it like almost dislocate your shoulder, like yanking you forward. But as you hold on to the rock beside you, you are basically Captain America with the helicopter, holding it in place as it tries to go away, and it whips around back at you and tries to lash out at you again.
Okay.
What was your AC? It was 15?
15.
Okay, that does hit. And you take 1 damage, sir. And then we are to Decker.
I'm going
Odds are even, sir. Sorry.
odds.
Okay, you're good. Go.
All right. Not being sure of what the consequences of falling into this would be, I'm gonna just remain where I'm at, and I'm going to brace.
Okay.
That's it. And then, well, I will have Aurora swing in and give me the help action,
Okay.
and then come back out.
Simple enough. Valor and odds are evens.
Even.
Okay, your turn. Go, sir.
All right. First, I'll use my bonus action to move the spiritual weapon up.
It doesn't want to let me
Okay.
move this, so I'm just going to do this. Why is it not letting me move it? Oh no, now I can't even select it.
It's gigantic.
Continue your description, sir, while I solve this problem.
All right. Damn it. 12 is not going to get it done either, is it?
No, that would be a miss, sir.
Okay. Then I will take the dodge action and say, feeling guilty is not taking responsibility. It's time to wake up.
Okay. Is it all for you, sir?
That's it.
Thor, dex save, and I'll give you advantage on this one.
Okay. Because I know what's coming.
Okay. As you are holding this monster in place, your muscles kind of stretch to their limit. You look up and you see one of the bodies very quickly descending upon you, and you just kind of like start swinging yourself back and forth to allow you to like shift out of place ever so slightly as you hurl yourself forward, and you feel, I guess, the whoosh of air of the body sailing past behind you. And it is your turn, sir.
Gotcha. All right. Am I able to like grab onto this rock or like
Yes.
reach for it? 'Cause, like, what?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll probably make you do like an
Aw.
athletics to get back up.
Yeah. I can do that. I'm good at those. I have advantage.
Okay.
I'm good at those.
So I'm
So I
imagining you retrieve your fist from the flesh. It's kind of all goopy and slimy. You just and then start.
Yeah. So I kind of just like unhinge my hilt out of the beast, and then I'll kind of just one-handed pull myself up onto. Am I able to pull myself onto this big rock?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't really know how that works with the big creature, but then I'd like to bonus action call my hilt back.
Okay.
Or not my hilt, the blade.
I got you.
Yeah, so it's so 8 plus 5.
That's a
What?
13.
13, yeah.
And that would be a miss, sir.
I can roll a d8 if I want to, because I do have inspiration. Might as well use it. Okay. Well,
That's still a miss,
Classic.
sir.
classic Jarek Thor combo. And then since that's my bonus action, for my action, I will take 2 attacks at it.
Mm-hmm. Both hit.
All right, so that is 9 and 15.
Okay. One moment, sir.
Yeah, you just let me know how much I take.
Decker and Thor, give me a strength saving throw.
Strength saving throw? Okay.
Yes. Come on.
Better than average.
So Thor, as you land your second blow, cutting these 2 long, decisive slices across this wall of flesh, you feel it wring its whole body in this long whipping motion, and as the top of the head, cries out in pain, the kind of grotesque, broken wings send down this large gust of wind, bolting it back up into the sky, and having just crawled yourself to the top, you're able to grab onto the rock to hold on this giant force of wind trying to disrupt you and throw you away. Decker, not quite prepared for what's about to happen, you feel this blast of air shooting you backwards. It is going to shoot you into this rock, so I'll give you a dex saving throw to grab on. Seems fair.
Also, does that count as movement?
What? Oh, I'm gonna say Sentinel probably doesn't apply here, if that's what you're asking. It's not really. I would say it's either disrupting you enough in its movement, or it's moving so fast One of the two. You choose.
I'll give it to you because I like you as a person. Okay.
Thank you. But Decker, as you are blasted back, you feel yourself like tumbling towards this void, unsure what fate awaits you if you do fall. You feel your back kind of hit against the rock, almost instinctively throwing your hand back. You latch onto the side of it, kind of dangling slowly from the side, but not currently falling as the monster disappears back up into the sky. Jarek. Oops. Do you see that, sir?
I do.
Okay.
Jarek will move back from the shadow above him. Actually, no, he won't move back. He'll just move in front of Valoran. Trying to keep everyone in range. Valoran, do you have inspiration? I don't recall.
No.
Okay. Jarek will turn, put a hand on Valoran's shoulder. It's literally all on your shoulders. Good luck. And give him some bardic inspiration. And then the only one that's taking damage really is Thor, and then Decker, you just took a little bit of damage, right?
No.
Valoran took 15 points of damage in the very beginning before any of this. From falling.
Oh, yes. That's correct.
But I'm good. Just FYI.
Yeah, as usual, I'm
I'm good.
Everything's fine.
Yeah, I guess I'll take a dodge action.
To the end of your turn?
Yeah, I think that's about all I can do right now.
All right.
It's a pretty big thing, by the way.
Decker, you're up, sir. You are clinging to the side of a rock.
Okay, I'll hop.
Give me
On top.
athletics. And that'll probably be your movement. Or your action. I'll let you decide. Or you can continue to cling. Yeah, that's rough. Yeah, I think you, from the impact, having a reverse grip on the rock, having to also hold on to your shield, it's a little difficult to manage all of it. You're at least turned around, attempting to pull yourself up. Okay.
And then I would like to have my owl come give me emotional support.
Okay. Valoran and Jarek, give me a dexterity saving throw.
Do I get anything for taking the dodge action?
Advantage.
Yeah. All right. Best case scenario. I like it. Oh, did I do that right? Oh, I'm an idiot. My bad. Sorry. Get out of here. There we go. So Jarek, as you scurry over to your friend and lay a inspirational hand on his shoulder, you look back up expecting the quickly growing shape of this monster to be aimed about 10 feet more north, but to your surprise, you see it barreling down at you, and just in time, you're like, oh fuck! And you either throw Valor and push yourself out, whatever thematic story you want to tell here. You both dive out of the way as this thing slams down into the ground like a slinky, all of its mass hitting and then like convulging down to one point and then sending out this like horrible shockwave around it. You both succeed, but you take 11 points of damage each. As you both dive out of the way, you're able to avoid the actual impact of the monster, but the ferocity in which it lands shakes your bones, bruises your skin as you skid away from it. I'll let you guys decide where you want to end up on the edge of it. If you can't see, then I shall move it real quick. But that would bring us to Valorant's turn.
All right. Well, I have to take advantage of this opportunity.
An attack of opportunity, you would say.
It's an opportunistic attack.
Real quick, am I able to stand there?
Yes.
Okay, thematically that made more sense, but I didn't know if
So just getting to my feet and wasting no time. You didn't happen to inspire me as well, did you? Or were you just asking?
You did, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, he did.
it's all on your shoulders.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, I don't need it for that one. You know the smite's coming.
I'm ready for it.
So that's that.
Okay.
So 19 and 14.
Yep.
33.
Is there more coming?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Attack number 2.
That hits.
Good. I get to save.
You boys
Get
have
to
been
save
rolling
that.
so high right now.
Get to save that inspo. We'll use a level 1 slot for this one just to be conservative.
Okay.
So 17.
Mm-hmm.
And then the bonus action strike. I'll use the inspo on that one. Is that a D4?
Yeah, D8.
D8, yeah.
That hits.
17. Okay. And there's that. And there's that. 16.
God damn. Okay, give me one moment. Alright. Valorant, as your good-intentioned companion, runs to your side, and you feel the immense dread of his presence beside you, and you dart away from the impact, gliding away just in the nick of time to maintain your stance and have your wits about you. You turn around and begin landing these expertly placed strikes back and forth, your blade glowing with this white hot intensity, and as you slice through the skin, the surface of the flesh, it begins to peel and split and separate like a hot knife through butter at this point, just cleanly dividing this column into smaller and smaller chunks. And as you land your third blow, the pommel of your glaive leaving this burning white indent in the flesh, you see the entire totem wiggling and screaming and wailing, all of the various arms kind of whipping around as one tries to catch you out of just spasming. It would miss. But, yeah, you dealt a rather significant blow, sir. And we are to Thor.
I would like to teach the world to sing. Let's see. Yeah, I guess I'll try to jump to this over here if I can.
Okay, give me athletics.
All right. Athletics? Okay.
Yes. Or acrobatics, my bad. Okay.
All right, so I'll jump there. Hold on. Gosh, I can't. Sorry, I'm trying to like figure out what angle I need to do this at. Okay. And then, so that's 10, 15, 20, and then I'd like to try to jump onto this rock.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and acrobatics.
Featherfall lasts a full minute, so you
Okay.
do still have it on you.
Okay. Is that good or?
Yeah, you're good. The DC
Okay.
is 10 for all of you
Okay.
to make a jump.
And then I would like to expend another charge of Shard's Edge
Is that
because
in
I
range?
believe,
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah, I believe it was in range, so I did it. So let me go ahead and mark that off. D20 plus 5, so that's 23.
That hits.
And that is 3d4 plus 2. So 11.
Mm-hmm.
And then as a bonus action, I will call it back. So same thing. Nice. All right. Well, called it back. It's fine.
Jarek, would you want to attack of opportunity with your loot or your fists?
I can deal exactly 0 damage with my fists, and it would break my loot to attack with it. So.
Okay. Valorant, do you want to attack of opportunity as it goes away?
Yeah.
Okay. That hits.
Yeah. Gonna smite.
God damn, this is a brutal round. Ugh.
26 total.
Okay.
I'd like
doing
to,
it
like, what?
You, Thor, what's up?
I was just gonna like shout something into the air.
Okay.
Just be like, "It's not your fault that he's this way. He made himself this way." And as I'm like throwing it out and calling it back.
So as you call back the shards, you see the bits of metal pulling itself from the flesh. You're confused for a moment as it seems like the flesh is staying there. It's not pulling out all the way. You're like, why isn't it? And then you realize the fleshy column is racing after the shards towards you. It pulls up beside you in the void and goes racking up at you with its hand. It does hit. You take 6 points of damage.
Okay.
And then give me a dexterity... No, strength saving throw.
Okay. 12.
Do you get advantage on that at all?
I think I only get advantage on... Yeah, strength. Oh. Strength checks and saving throws.
Nice.
Sorry.
As it racks up your body and you feel the tiny claws kind of scraping at your hardened exterior, you stand back as it bolts back into the sky, that familiar gust of wind kind of shooting out, and you're just able to kind of throw your hand down on the rock, holding you from being thrown back into the void, and it disappears up into the sky again. And then we are to Jarek.
Very cool. Run up over here and do I notice the shadow?
Perception check. Nope.
All right. Valor, you're doing great, man. Just hit her a little harder, and some bardic inspiration here for you. And what can I actually do? I guess take the old dodge action.
Decker, it's your turn.
Okay. Am I presently still hanging?
Yes, so you can either expend your action or your movement to climb up, and it would be a athletics check.
So I can use my action to get up here and my movement to jump across.
Yes.
All right, then I'll do that. Athletics check?
Yes.
All right.
Sweet. You're able to clamber up. Give me a perception check real quick. Okay, you're good. Nothing's wrong.
All right. And then I'll jump across to here and then move up there. You want an acrobatics check for that?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Owl flutters back here.
You still have your bonus action, right?
Yeah, but yeah, I'll dodge.
Okay. Let me give me a dexterity saving throw, sir.
At advantage or no?
At advantage, yes. Come on, baby. Yeah, baby. Okay. I don't have to murder Decker. That would be a very sad story indeed.
Short one.
You still take 12 points of damage as you finally get yourself up, jump over the small gap. Valor and Jarek, you would see your companion, and just as you see him kind of like, I guess, finishing off the momentum of his run, you see the shadow growing around him, and before you can warn him, there's just this boom, this hard smash into the ground that shakes the earth. Decker just being light enough on his feet to kind of throw himself back from the impact, still getting kind of scraped by the initial force, but able to dart away. You can, again, I'll move so you can choose wherever you want to go. Outside of its, there you go. And then we are to Valoran.
All right. Keep coming up with these contingency plans for if it's too far away, but gotta attack it.
I'm liking to think that Rob had like a big brain idea and let it over to you, but I don't know if that's true.
Yay, 20.
That hits.
Just gonna let that one go.
Okay.
Attack again.
That'd be a miss.
I'll channel Divinity for a Conquering Strike to make that a 21.
Okay, that hits.
And then we'll do the bonus attack.
That would miss.
Sorry. I have kept hoping for a crit. Actually, I don't think I've crit yet. All right. That'll be it.
Would he get like a flanking with Decker? I mean, like the
Yeah, he's not
creature's pretty
Yeah.
massive.
I'll give you flanking. It makes sense. So that what was it, a 14 would be a 16?
16.
Yeah,
Okay, that would hit.
Really? All right.
I got you.
And there's that.
Okay.
Chip damage here. You know what? It's the last hit of the round. We'll smite with it.
Okay.
Oh, that sucks. All right.
Ooh.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't a crit smite.
Yeah. Yeah, it happens.
Okay. Decker, Valoran, Jarek, and Aurora. Strength saving throw, please.
Don't forget to add 5.
19 for me.
Wait, let me double check. I always forget a flip. Oh, let's see. Saving throws, okay.
You use a lucky.
I am.
Imagine if it's a 1.
Don't say those things.
Wow.
5, yeah, okay.
Okay. So, yep. Okay. Nice. So, Valorant, as you land that final blow, feeling your strike digging in, even with the rather weak comparative strike, this violent and singular twitch of the entire column shakes up its mass, and it again darts its wings to blast up into the sky. This time, instead of flying farther and out of sight, it swirls around and then rests itself back into the center of the rough area. Everyone succeeded. Everyone give me...
Provoke with it.
I think I was ruling that, like, the impact would null any opportunity attacks. Okay, you can choose either a wisdom saving throw or a con saving throw, but everybody give me at least one of those.
If you slept with the convoy last night, you get to add +2 on your
So
next
it's a-
con save if you haven't made any yet today.
So it's
okay.
a no.
So that's a 16 for me.
Okay. So we got
16 for me.
16, 18, 16. So Thor, you're 9.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh boy.
Only Jarrett gets the +5. Okay.
Okay. So as you all witness it blasting away from the three of you, Thor still holding down the other side of this space, it swirls into the center, kind of hovering, and again you see its head like twirling faster and faster, looking at all of you, before it releases this high-pitched, ear-splitting sound. It dives into your mind, and it begins blurring your vision, making your muscles ache. The intensity of this sound, almost feeling like it is deconstructing your body around you, and you take 30 psychic damage, sir.
Yeah, dog. I'm using my reaction on that.
You are unable to move, by the way.
Okay. Well, I will reduce that by 13. So, what did you say?
Stone endurance apply to psychic?
It says, as a reaction, reduce damage dealt to you by 1d12 plus 3.
Okay.
Doesn't specify.
Simple enough. But I guess
so-
we would come to your turn, and you are unable to move.
Okay. So, how much damage was it total?
I already
30.
forgot. It was 31?
30.
30? Okay.
30? Okay, so then I'd take 17.
Sounds right.
Alright, cool.
20?
Then I guess last charge that I can do, whip it out, whip it back.
Okay.
And that's a d20 plus 5. Doesn't hit. And then another d20 plus 5 still doesn't hit. Cool.
The ears, the damage, the sound.
And then, yeah, that's I can't do anything else, so that is my turn.
That is awful. Everyone, again, give me either a wisdom or a con saving throw.
I don't think the +2 applies anymore.
Nope. Wow. God damn. Okay, Thor.
I have a +6, so I don't know what to tell you.
Daniel, like, oh my god.
You take 23 points of psychic damage, sir, and you are unable to move. Jarek, your turn, sir.
Oh, good golly. Okay. Thor's in bad shape. So
His
Cure
ears are
Wounds
bleeding
does
a lot.
absolutely nothing for him.
Can you move your mic? Did you, like, move it out of your mouth? There you go.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay, so I can't help him. It's dealing. Yeah, I'll just kind of look at it and you screech like a scorned woman. And viciously mock it.
Okay.
Wisdom save of 15.
Come on, baby. Oh my god. Is it half damage or no damage on a success?
No damage, I guess. Yeah.
Anything else, sir?
You got this, buddy. And I'll give Thor my last bardic inspiration.
Thor, give me a perception check. You're not inspired. Because you can't hear shit. Is that all you got, sir?
I will take the dodge action. No, I insulted. Never mind. I do, Jack. I'm gonna stand behind Valor. That's what I'm gonna do.
Everyone give me a wisdom save or a con save. Is that a 15? Do you have any bonuses, Thor?
That is my bonuses.
All right. Thor, Jarek, and Decker, you take 29 points of psychic damage, and you are unable to move.
I am unconscious.
Decker? Your turn, sir.
Alright, hold on. I'm still doing math here.
Becker's, yeah, he's outside of the aura. Damn.
Your spear is still over there, right, Val?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
And I put the bloodied thing on there.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, not dead yet. Alright.
I didn't hear no bell.
Alright. So Valoran's the only one that's really up and fighting well right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Aurora's gonna come in and give Valoran the help action. Come
Okay.
back out. And if I look at the other islands, can I see anything peculiar or interesting about them? Anything that stands out?
Give me a quick perception check. Besides distinctly being from one of each memory and, showcasing kind of the focal points of each scene, there isn't anything abundantly, obviously strange about them.
Then I will. Where's the aura for? How big's your aura, Valoran?
10 feet.
10 feet. All right. I'll move there and
Can't move.
Oh, that's right. I can't move. Never mind. I'll take the dodge action then.
Okay. That's it?
That's it.
Everyone give me, except Thor, a con or wisdom saving throw. Okay. That's a 16, Jarek, with the bonus?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Val, you're up.
All right, damn it. I want to move here. I want to make this hop to this nice fat pillar.
Give me acrobatics. Okay.
All right, and now I'm gonna attack with the advantage from the help.
Mm-hmm. That hits.
Yeah, all right. And smite. So 14 on that.
Okay.
And again. $13 regular.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to use the spiritual weapon. I'm going to use my bonus attack to use the spiritual weapon to attack instead, because it actually is slightly better than the bonus polearm attack.
Can you smite with a spiritual weapon?
Don't think so.
Okay.
Anyway, that's not going to hit anyhow.
No. Is that all you got, sir?
How much movement did I spend doing that? Yeah, I better stay put. All right. Yeah, that's it.
How do you want to do this?
Oh. So the world is crumbling around us. Everybody getting taken down by this noise. And so summoning the courage to do the one thing that he was trying to avoid having to do this entire time, which was jump on these damn pillars. Running to the edge, hopping to the pillar, and reaching out at the maximum length of his glaive and just screaming back at this monster. Silence! And whacking it.
All right. So, Thor, you are unconscious. So you're witnessing this post-mortem. But Decker and Jarek, as you are locked in place by this horrible screeching, watching your companion struggle through this horrible sound, leaping to the rock beside the platform, Leech reaches out with his glaive, sending a deliberate long cut up its length, and as it bends down, looking like it's about to try and open up its mouth, this large drooling maw, almost in a motion to swallow him whole, he swings the glaive up wide, catching it on either side of its cheeks, splitting its mouth open wide as he basically separates the top half of it in two. The screaming and screeching frequency that is slowly deteriorating your mind ceases in a deliberate, I keep saying deliberate, an all-encompassing moment as the world begins to fade away. And that's where we're going to end the session.